Hello and welcome back to part 14 in my Fates Unite Unlimited Blade Works playthrough. In the last episode, Shiro and Rin have finally confronted Caster with Fu and Tao, and well, things turn out weird. Archer killed Caster and tried to kill Shiro when Rin made a contract with Saber and she was with full power. He took Rin hostage, ran away, and now he wants to fight Shiro one-on-one at EDSV Castle. But, well, we'll see what happens next as we continue our journey with maybe one of the last days or second to last or whatever. And the chapter is called After Image. And we start out with an interlude. It is daybreak. The knight in red is leaning against a pillar and, and staring at his own arm. He puts strength into his fingertips and clenches his fists. Only about half of his sensations are left. Even though he is a heroic spirit, he cannot maintain his existence without a master that helps him stay in this world. Archer is existing because of a special ability that his class holds, but that is nearing his limits. The knight in red's remaining strength is less than a tenth of his original powers. His fists lack strength, and he should slowly start failing if he lets his guard down. But there's no problem. Even if he only has a tenth of his power remaining, it is enough to finish Hero Emiya off. Considering the difference in their abilities, this is not even a handicap. Therefore, it will end once they fight. His one and only objective will be accomplished here. That is right. He has been waiting for this moment. He has endured the endless repetition, hoping for this chance. He could only wait for a miracle that would not usually be able to occur, with a possibility close to zero. And his wish is granted. No, it is about to be granted. He does not care about what awaits him afterwards. He will kill his own self, with his own hands. That wish, which doesn't have enough of future to be hope, is what kept him going after he wore out. Was it long? Or was it in an instant? He is an existence that disappears after each summoning to start with. His memories does not remain intact, whether he repeats that cycle 100 times or 1,000 times. It only stays in his body as knowledge. Heroic spirits know about their heroic spirits. Know about other heroic spirits because they have accumulated knowledge. It is just like a book. Every time they are summoned, a book with its history is sent to its home. They remain in the house and they read the book that are sent. What is troubling is that the one at the house does not know when those books are sent. The past or future does not matter. All the books are already in his room. His only way of measuring time is to read the records of his cleaning that he will carry out. It makes no difference whether it's an eternity or an instant. An eternity is an instant, and an instant is an eternity. Therefore, he does not know how rare this miracle is. He doesn't know whether it was the first time or a thousandth time he was summoned, since he gained his hope. All he has is the unordered knowledge. Future, past, and present are all things that heroic spirits don't have.
来客か。邪魔は入らんというから来てやったのだがな。
A visitor, huh? I chose this place since I told there would be no interruptions here. The knight in red suddenly gets up. Did his ears hear an intruder? Footsteps echo through the castle that shouldn't be silent.
へえ、驚きだね、遠坂。半信半疑だったけど、本当にこんなところにいたんだ。
Wow, I'm surprised, Tosaka. I was skeptical, but you're actually here. The voice echoes. The boy who entered rudely is Shinji Mato.
おっと、物騒な真似はなしだぜ、アーチャー。
Hey now, no funny business, Archer.
こっちはお前に用はないんだ。お前だって遠坂に用はないんだろ。ならここで殺し合うことはないんじゃない？
I have no business with you. You don't have any business with Tosaka either, right? And isn't it meaningless for us to fight here? Shinji Mato walks over, with light steps. He's looking at Rin Tosaka, who is tied to a chair. The girl doesn't say anything and stares at the intruder, while being tied up. That must make him pleased. Shinji Mato licks his lips in satisfaction and walks to the girl. What? Shinji Mato glances in annoyance at the knight, who is staring down at him in silence.
何？やるっていうの？本気かよ。お前なんて相手になるわけないじゃんか。
What? You wanna fight? Are you serious? You'd be no match for me. Shinji Mato smiles and returns to the entrance. There stands the golden-haired boy, the aged servant, Gilgamesh. He himself is a disaster. The golden servant looks at the knight with cool eyes. But within them, the red eyes distorted from his smile only to have the intention to murder the enemy in front of him. The knight in red is still silent. It makes no difference whether Shinji Mato appears or the strongest servant in front of him is ready to attack him. The knight calmly stares at the uninvited enemies.
ブルってるんだろ、アーチャー。いいんだぜ。別に恥じゃない。あいつはバーサーカーだって難なく始末したサーバントなんだからさ。お前がおじけづくのも当然。
You're scared, right, Archer? It's fine, nothing to be ashamed of. He's the servant who killed Berserker without difficulty. It's only natural to be scared.
リンが欲しいのか、マトシンジ。
Do you want Rin, Shinji Mato?
え？ああ、当然じゃないか。そうでもなけりゃ、こんな城には近寄らないよ。
Yeah, of course. There's no other reason for me to come this close to this castle.
そうか。ならばことが済むまで待て。エミや城を始末した後ならばくれてやる。
I see. Then wait until things are over. I will give her to you once I get rid of Shiro Emiya.
それまで、あれは私のものだ。それが聞きぬとあらば仕方がない。不本意だが、ここで死ぬことになるぞ、ギルガメッシュ。
She is mine until then. It cannot be helped. If you cannot compromise on that, it is regrettable, but you will die here, Gilgamesh. The knight in red declares, still staring at the golden servant.
愉快だな、道化。
Very funny fool. Was that statement itself good enough reason for a man to kill Archer? Golden Servant identifies the knight in red in front of him as a target he must kill.
待てギルガメッシュ早まるなよことはスマートに行こういいじゃんくれるってんだからもらっておこう
Wait, Gilgamesh, don't be rash. Let's be smart. Come on. He's saying he'll give her to me, so I'd let him be.
どうせアーチャーはマスターがいないんだ何度も裏切ったこいつと契約するマスターなんていないんだしさほっとけば消えるんだろ遠坂はその後でもらえばいい
Archer doesn't have a master. I'm sure there's no master who would form a contract with him after how many times he betrayed people. So he'll disappear if you let him be. I can take Tosaka after that. Shinji Mato stares at the Red Knight, still smiling. His eyes looks as if he's enjoying the fate of one who is about to disappear soon.
賢明だな、マトシンジ。その判断は的確だ。君はある意味、誰よりもマスターにふさわしい。
Smart, Shinji Mato. That decision is accurate. In that regard, you're most suitable as a master.
なんだあんた見どころあるじゃんもったいないそれなら僕のところに来てれば契約してやったのに
Oh, you show promise. What a waste. I would have formed a contract with you if you had come to me. Stepping away from the knight in red, Shinji Mato claps his hands happily.
けど悪いねもう他のサーバントなんていらないんだ残念だけどさおとなしく消えちゃってよあんた
But I'm sorry, I don't need any more servants. It's unfortunate, but you have to disappear here.
言われるまでもない。それで、結局どうするのだ？ここで私と戦うか？私が消え去るのを待つのか？
You do not need to tell me. So what will you do? Will you fight me? Or wait until I disappear?
ああ待ってやるよエミヤを始末するまで遠坂は僕たちが守ってやろうじゃないか
Yeah, I'll wait. We'll protect Tosaka until you get rid of Emiya.
けどそうだなとなるとあれはもう僕のだろなら何をしても構わないと思わない
But that's right. In that case, that thing is mine already, right? And don't you think I can do anything to her now? Can do anything I want. Sorry. He looks at the knight in red and Rin Tosaka with snake-like eyes. Those words test the loyalty of the king knight in red to that.
傷をつけるなというのがエミヤ素人の契約だが、それは夜明けとともに消える。刻限が来たのなら、あとは好きにするがいい。
The agreement with Shiro Emiya was that she will not be harmed, but that will disappear by dawn. You can do as you wish once the time comes. The knight in red answers in an emotionless voice.
聞いたかよ遠坂お前のサーバントマスターを売っ払うってさ
Did you hear that, Tosaka? Your servant is selling off his master. Sneering laughter echoes through the dining room. Red Knight leaves the room, as if he is not interested. He passes by Gilgamesh. He goes into the hallway, ignoring the red eyes that look at him amused. At that moment,
フェイカー
the King of Heroes says mocking him. Faker? Huh. Dawn approaches. Our conversation dies off as we head deeper into the woods, and the silence weighs heavily. Once I'm through the forest, I, Shiro Emiya, will settle the score with that man. I have no chance of victory. My defeat is certain. I'm well aware that I'll be slaughtered as soon as we are cross swords. I don't feel fear, but not out of defiance or determination. I might die, but he's long dead. The moment I realized this, I knew that I was no different. There's no longer any point in feeling gloomy about my own death. Thus will cast a gate. Saber's expression is dark. She knows what sort of fight awaits me. She's troubled by me, and by him. No matter who lives or falls, the same man will disappear. He's in anguish, unsure whether we should put a stop to this absurd duel. She glances skyward. Her eyes look severe, or perhaps angry that such a vain battle must be fought. We come to the great ruined hall. Morning mist shrouds the ground to our mutual resting place.
来たか。随分と遅い到着だな、エミヤシロ。
You're here. You sure took your sweet time, Shiro Emiya. His icy voice rings through the air. Its familiar baritone comes from the second story. The man stands there atop crumbling stairs that accumulate in a sunlit plateau. His crimson cloak seems distant and hazy. But I can see him. I can make out every exact detail of my enemy. We share the same eagle eyes, after all. He is the servant assigned to the role of archer. He's a bowman, yet not a bowman. A contradictory person who possesses a vast number of noble phantasms and hurls them out unsparingly. All of his noble phantasms are replicas, and his personal noble phantasm is the ability to create infinite swords. I was the only one who failed to realize his identity. Heroic spirits are summoned from all eras. If the past doesn't contain an appropriate hero, then one might be born in the future. I finally realized that there can't be two pendants. It's always been.
そうだ。あれは命を救われたお前が生涯持ち続けたもの。
That's
この世に
right.
二つとない。遠坂凛の父の形見だ。
That's right. You held on to it as a keepsake for your savior for the rest of your life. It's the one and only memento of Rin Tosaka's late father. It's a paradox for the two of them to exist. If Shiro Emiya held onto the pendant for the rest of his life, then
英霊の召喚には必ず触媒が必要となる。
catalyst is needed to summon a heroic spirit.
お前がセイバーを召喚したように、召喚者と英霊にはつながりがなくてはならない。
There must be a connection between summoner and heroic spirit, just as there was with you and Saber.
遠坂凛には英霊を呼び出すための触媒がなかった。
Rin Tosaka did not use a catalyst to summon a heroic spirit.
故に、彼女は呼び出したサーバントに何の縁もないと思い込んだ。
She assumed that she summoned a servant that she had no relation to whatsoever.
だが、偶然で呼び出される英霊などいない。召喚者と英霊には必ず物質的な縁が必要となる。
But heroic spirits are never summoned by coincidence. There must be a material connection between summoner and spirit. If that's true, then there's only one explanation. Osaka didn't have anything to connect herself to Archer, but
そう。召喚者ではなく、呼び出された英霊そのものが、召喚者に縁のあるものを持っていた場合のみだ。
yes, this only happened because the heroic spirit had a catalyst connecting itself to the summoner. That tiny gem, of which there's only one in the world. Someone saved my life, and I never found out who, but I kept the pendant with me, assuming it must have belonged to my saver. That's the answer. He has Tosaka's pendant, which makes him the heroic spirit, Emiya. My future self. The man standing before me perfected Chiyo's Emiya's incomplete abilities and achieved my ideals. The red-clad knight looks down at me from the top of the stairs. There's no sign of anyone else around. Only he and I stand here in this hall. Archer, where's Tosaka?
あの小娘なら城のどこかに置いてきたが、気に病むのなら急げ。お前が来るのが遅いのでな、先に来た的を信じにくれてやったところだ。
I left your girl somewhere in the castle. You should hurry if you're worried about her. You took so long getting here that I gave her to Shinji Mato first. You... what?
お前との約束は守っている。俺は手出しはせん。
I kept my promise to you. I haven't harmed her.
他の人間が彼女に何をしようが、俺には関わりのないことだ。
But it's none of my business of mine. But it's no business of mine what anyone else tries to do to her.
まあ、結果は見えているがな。的真司は遠坂凛に情欲と敵害を抱いている。あれに凛を預ければどうなるかは考えるまでもない。凛に挑発された小僧は我慢できずに口火を切り、今頃は妙なことになっているかもしれんぞ。
Yeah, I can hazard a guess. Shinji Mato feels lust and animosity towards Rin, Tosaka. One hardly needs to imagine what might happen to Rin. Oops.
まあ、お前との約束、他の人間、まあ、
Skipped a
結
little
果は
edge,
見えてい
sorry.
るがな。的真司は遠坂凛に情欲と敵害を抱いている。あれに凛を預ければどうなるかは考えるまでもない。凛に挑発された小僧は我慢できずに口火を切り、今頃は妙なことになっているかもしれんぞ。
Still, I can hazard a guess. Shinji Mato feels lust and animosity towards Rin Tosaka. One hardly needs to imagine what might happen to Rin under his watch. The little brat might be losing his temper at her provocations as we speak. My blood boils. How can you just talk about her like that?
ああ、焦るな、坊主。あのお嬢ちゃんなら俺に任せろ。
Settle down, lady. You can leave the last to me.
何？すぐに助け出してやる。
I rescue her right away. Don't you fret. Lancer?
マスターからの命令だな。元から俺はあのお嬢ちゃんを死なせないために協力したわけだ。
It's an order from my master. I'm working with you because I won't let the blast die.
いや、これが思いのほか居心地よくてな。昨日のは悪くなかった。自分の仕事を気に入れるってのは俺にとっては珍しい。
I gotta say, this has been more comfortable than I thought. Yesterday's work wasn't bad. It's not often that I have a job that I actually like. With that flippant remark, Lancer ignores Archer and heads to the western terrace. Lancer.
気にするな。これはあくまで俺の趣味だ。
Don't worry about it. I'm just doing this as a hobby.
ま、今までいけすかねえ命令ばっかりだったからな。この命令は最後まで守り抜く。そっちはそっちで自分の面倒だけ見てやがれ。
All my orders until now have left a bad taste in my mouth. You see. So I'll see this one all the way through. You can worry about your own mess. Yeah. Take care of Tosaka. Lancer departs with an eye. But then? He stops and turns, as if remembering something.
おい、何してんだセイバー。お前も来るんだよ。
Hey, what about you, Saber? Aren't you coming with? Saber looks pained.
いいえ、私はここに残ります、ランサー。
No, I will remain here, Lancer. Her response isn't what you'd expect from a servant.
本気か？今のマスターはお嬢ちゃんだろ？サーバントが守るべきはマスターだけのはずだが。
You serious? Your current master is that lassie. You're only supposed to protect your master.
分かっています。ですが、それでも私はここに残りたい。私はこの戦いを見守らなければ。
Know that, but I want to stay here. I must bear witness to this battle.
そうかよ。なら好きにしな。
Yeah? You do that then. Lancer disappears. The blue-clad spearman easily leaps up to the second-story terrace and disappears down the hallway without another glance. Archer doesn't make any move to stop him. Tosaka seems to have outlived her usefulness to him. I step forward through the rubble. I'm headed for the middle of the hall, at the bottom of the stairs. Saber stays where she is. She intends to watch us fight, and keeps her emotions in check.
手出しはしないか。それはありがたい。
You won't interfere then. I appreciate that, Saber.
ここまで来てセイバーに邪魔をされるようでは、リンと契約を切った意味がないからな。
It would have been pointless to sever my contract with Rin only for you to get in my way later. I can hear her hesitate. She inhales slightly and answers the man standing at the top of the stairs.
ええ、私は手出しをしません。何があろうと、あなたとシロの戦いの邪魔はしない。
No, whatever happens, I will not interfere in your duel with Shiro.
それは結構。ならば安心して、小僧を始末できるというものだ。
Good. And I can kill the boy at my leisure.
はい。ですが、その代わりに一つだけ答えてほしい。アーチャー。なぜあなたはシロを殺そうというのです？
Yes, but I want you to answer me this, Archer. Why are you trying to kill Shiro?
なぜも何もないだろう。そいつが俺を認められないように、俺もそいつを認められないだけだよ。
No particular reason. I can't accept his existence, just as he cannot accept mine.
そんなはずはない。あなたはシロだ。エミやシロという人物の理想、英雄となった姿があなたではないのですか？ならどうしてこんな自分を殺すような真似をするのです？
It can't be true. You are Shiro himself. You are not that. You're not the person who embodies Shiro's Emiya's ideals and become a hero? And became a hero? Why would you try to kill yourself?
なぜそう思う？未熟だった頃のエミヤシロと、エミヤと呼ばれる英雄となった俺は別の存在だ。そうでなければ、同時に存在などできないが。
Why do you think that? That immature Shiro Emiya is a complete distant entity from the hero called Emiya. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to exist at the same time.
それはあなたがサーバントになったからでしょ。時間軸にとらわれない守護者になったのなら、自身が生きた時代に呼ばれることもあると聞きます。
But that's only because you're a servant. I've heard that once you become a hero guardian separate from the time axis, you can be summoned into the era in which you lived.
あなたはシローだ。シローがずっと思い描いて、その努力が叶った姿があなたのはずだ。なのに、どうして
Shiro. You should be the very image of what he imagines and strives to become. So why? Why did you turn out so differently? I can hear her anguished question, even if she doesn't say the words out loud. He starts down the stairs without answering. He can't answer. If he could, then we wouldn't be here, trying to settle things by force.
Archer.
Saber challenges him, without actually stepping forward. It's alright, Saber. You can back off. With one hand, I gesture for her to move back to the entrance.
ですが、シロ。
But Shiro, I appreciate the thought, really. But we are beyond words now. His only goal from the start has been to kill me. Saber bites her lips in distress. She looks at me, and then at Archer, as he descends the stairs to the hall.
なぜなのです、アーチャー。私にはわからない。守護者とは死後、英霊となって人間を守るものと聞いた。その英霊がなぜ自分自身を殺そうなどと考えるのか。
Why, Archer? I don't understand. I've heard that guardians are heroic spirits who protect humanity after death. Why would you think of killing yourself instead?
守護者だ。
Guardians. Archer stops and looks down at Sabers emotionlessly. The word seems to have struck a nerve with him.
違うよ、セイバー。守護者は人間を守るものではない。あれはただの掃除屋だ。俺が望んでいた英雄などでは断じてない。
You're wrong, Saber. Guardians don't protect humanity. They're just cleaners. They aren't the heroes I aspire to be at all. His voice changes. Hatred and scorn changes his disappointed tone.
アーチャー。
俺は確かに英雄になった。エミヤシロという男が望んでいたように正義の味方になったんだ。
I indeed became the hero that Shiro Emiya always aspired to be. A hero of justice. Someone who always does the right thing and doesn't let anyone get hurt. The kind of person Shiro Emiya has always wanted to be. Who doesn't retreat from any disaster and saves everyone equally. Is he saying that he achieved that ideal?
アーチャー。
ああ、確かにいくらかの人間を救ってきたさ。
Yeah, I've saved many people.
自分にできる範囲で多くの理想を叶えてきたし、世界の危機とやらを救ったこともあったよ。
I did whatever was in my power to live up to my ideals. And I even saved the world.
英雄と遠い昔から憧れていた地位にさえついにはたどり着いたこともある。
A hero. They called me. I finally achieved the status that I yearned for all my life.
英雄にたどり着いた。なら、シロは報われたのですね。
If you became a hero, then Shiro's effort was rewarded, right?
少なくともここにいるあなたは、エミやシロの理想を叶えられたのでしょう。
At the very least, you are here because Shiro's Emiya's ideals were realized.
ならあなたには悔いなどないはずだ。シロはちゃんとその理想を叶えたのだから。
Then you shouldn't have any regrets if that really did happen. A verbal challenge doesn't have much force behind it. She already knows. She's aware that her words are merely wishful thinking.
理想を叶えたか。確かに俺は理想通りの正義の味方とやらになったさ。
You asked if I realized my ideals. I did act according to my ideals and always did what was right.
だがその果てに得たものは後悔だけだった。
But at the end of a path,
死だけだったからな。
But at the end of that path, all I gained was regret. Only death awaited me at the end.
殺して殺して殺し尽くした。
I killed and killed and killed.
己の理想を貫くために多くの人間を殺して
I killed people to carry out my ideals.
無関係な人間の命なぞどうでもよくなるくらい殺して殺した人間の数千倍の人々を救ったよ。
Scattering innocent lives like so much dust. And saving thousands of times the number of people I killed. Saber stares up at Archer in shock. Almost as if she's looking into a mirror.
そう。そんなことを何度繰り返したかわからないんだ。セイバ
I don't know how many times I've repeated that, Saber.
ー。俺は求められれば何度でも戦ったし、争いがあると知れば死をとして戦った。何度も何度も。思い出せないほど何度もだ。
Not as many times as was asked of me. And I threw myself into the mortal danger as long as there was conflict to be found. I've done it too many times to count.
だって仕方がないだろ
I didn't have a choice.
う。何を救おうと救われない人間というものは出てきてしまう。何度戦いを終わらせようと新しい戦いは生み出される。
When you save someone, there will always be someone else who isn't saved. The end of any battle only gives rise to new conflict.
そんなものがある限り正義の味方っていうのはあり続けるしかないんだから。
As long as that exists, so will heroes. I wonder who his lecture is directed at. Nudge describes his past as he slowly descends the stairs.
だから殺したよ。
That is why I killed.
一人を救うために何十という人間の願いを踏みにじってきた。踏みにじった相手を救うためにより多くの人間をないがしろにした。
I trampled dozens of wishes to save a single person. Then I ignored even more people to save those who I trampled on.
何十という人間の救いを殺して目に見えるものだけの救いを生かしてより多くの願いを殺してきた。
I killed the hopes of dozens of people, saved those who I could save, and killed the wishes of even more.
今度こそ終わりだと、今度こそ誰も悲しまないだろうとつまらない意地を張り続けた。
In my pathetic hubris, I told myself each time that it would be the last time. That no one else would be sad anymore.
だが終わることなどなかった。
There never was a last time.
生きている限り争いはどこに行っても目についた。
As long as I was alive, I saw conflict, no matter where I went.
キリがなかった。何も争いのない世界なんてものを夢見ていたわけじゃない。
There was no end to it. It's not that I dreamt of a world without conflict.
ただ俺はせめて自分が知り得る限りの世界では誰にも涙してほしくなかっただけなのにな。
I just didn't want anyone to cry in the world that I knew. Without a doubt, that was my very own dream.
一人を救えばそこから視野は広がってしまうんだ。
When you save one person, your perspective expands.
一人の次は10人、10人の次は100人、100人の次はさて何人だったか。そこでようやく悟ったよ。エミヤシロという男が抱いていたものは都合のいい理想論だったのだと。
Next time it's 10. After that 100. And how many's after that? That's when I realized that Shiro Emiya was clinging to a mere feel-good idealism.
それはなぜ？
Why would you say that?
分かりきったことを聞くな、セイバー。君ならば何度も経験したことだろう。すべての人間を救うことはできない。
Don't ask me something you already know, Saber. You've experienced it many times yourself. It's impossible to save everyone.
国を救うためにほんの少しの人間を見殺しにするなんていうのは日常茶飯事だっただろう。
Some people must be allowed to die to save to save a kingdom. You encountered that reality on a daily basis, I'm sure. The Red Knight's words stunned Saber into silence, stripping her of all the will to disagree. They must reflect Saber's inner darkness too.
そう。席は限られている。幸福という椅子は常に全体の数より少なめでしか用意されない。
That's right. There are only so many seats at the table. You can never provide enough chairs for everyone to sit in.
その場にいる全員を救うことなどできないから、結局誰かが犠牲になる。
You can't save everyone. So, some must be sacrificed.
それを
To do that,
被害を最小限に抑えるために、いずれこぼれる人間を速やかに、1秒でも早くこの手で切り落とした。
I killed those few leftover people in my own hands as quickly as possible to minimize the number of casualties.
それが英雄と、その男が理想と信じる正義の味方の取るべき行動だ。
This is how a hero of justice, a man who always does right by his ideals, should behave. I wish for no one to be sad. An ideal to save as many people as possible. If someone holds both of these ideals, then there's only one path to take once they contradict each other. A hero of justice can only save the people he is desired to save. If trying to save everyone means saving nobody, then saving as many people as you can with a minimum sacrifices is the right choice.
多くの人間を救うというのが正義の味方だろ。だから殺した。誰も死なさないようにと願ったまま、大勢のために一人には死んでもらった。
A hero saves a lot of people, isn't that right? That's why I killed. I had someone die in front of for the greater good, all while wishing that nobody would die.
誰も悲しまないようにと口にして、その陰で何人かの人間には絶望を抱かせた。
I brought despair to people by saying that no one would be sad anymore.
そのうち、それにも慣れてきてね。理想を守るために理想に反し続けた。
In time, I got used to it. I betrayed my principles in my effort to live up to them.
自分が助けようとした人間しか救わず、敵対した者は速やかに皆殺しにした。犠牲になる誰かを容認することで、かつての理想を守り続けた。
Only saved the people I chose to save, while swiftly slaughtering those who opposed me. By allowing someone to be sacrificed, I stayed true to my old ideas.
それがこの俺、英雄エミヤの正体だ。
That's who the hero Emiya really is.
そうだ。
So,
そんな男は今のうちに死んだ方が世のためと思わないか？
don't you think that the world be better off if such a man died sooner? He's right. A superhero can only save the people he desired to save. However, we ended up betraying those words in the end.
それは嘘です。たとえそうなったとしても、あなたならばその誰かを自分にして理想を追い続けたのではないですか？
I don't believe you. Even if that was true, I think that you would only be willing to sacrifice yourself to stay true to your ideals. Archer stops again, for just an instant. Pain frown clouds his face.
あなたは理想に反したのではない。守ったはずの理想に裏切られ、道を見失っただけではないのですか？
You didn't betray your ideals. You were betrayed by them and merely lost your way.
そうでなければ、こんな自分を殺すことで罪を償おうなどとは思わない。
Otherwise, you wouldn't be trying to kill yourself to atone for your sins. A sardonic grin disappears. Archer fixes Saber with a cold glare and... breaks into an uproarious laughter. As if she just said something hilarious.
いや、これは傑作だ。
No, that's a classic.
俺が自分の罪を償う？バカなことを言うなよ、セイバー。
You think I'm atoning for my sins? Don't be ridiculous, Saber.
償うべき罪などないし、他の誰にもそんな無責任なものを押し付けた覚えはない。
I have no sins to be punished for. Nor do I recall forcing such irresponsible matters onto anyone else. The Red Knight remains deadly calm. Only his low chuckles reverberate through the hall.
ああ、そうだったよ、セイバー。確かに俺は何度も裏切られ、欺かれた。救ったはずの男に罪をかぶせられたこともある。死ぬ思いで争いを収めてみれば、争いの張本人だと押し付けられて、最後には公主代だ。
That's right, Saber. I was betrayed and deceived many times. I was even framed for the crimes of a man who I saved. I put my life on the line to end a war, and ended up in the gallows after they accused me of masterminding the bloodshed.
そうだ。俺に罪があるというのなら、その時点で償っているだろう。
See? If I was guilty of anything, surely I paid for it in that moment.
嘘だ、アーチャー。あなたの最後は。
It can't be, Archer. And in the end you...
まあ、そういうことだ。
That's about it.
だが、そんなことはどうでもよかった。初めから干渉してほしかったわけじゃない。英雄などともてはやされる気もなかった。俺はただ、誰もが幸福だという結果だけが欲しかっただけだ。
But I didn't mind at all. I never did any of it for gratitude. I never asked to be glorified as a hero. I just wanted an outcome where everyone would be happy.
だが、それが叶えられたことはない。
But it never happened.
生前も、その死後も。
Not during my life, nor after my death. His laughter is gone. Now, his words are tinged only with hatred.
守護者とは、霊長の存命のみを優先する無職の力だ。
Guardians are neutral people, and a neutral power which prioritizes the survival of a ruling species.
力は高きところにありて、人の世が滅亡する可能性が生じれば世に下る。
That power exists in a higher place, and descends whenever the human world is threatened.
それがただの奴隷であることは知っていた。
I knew it was no different than slavery.
死後、己が存在を守護者に預けた者は、輪廻の枠から外れ、無と同意になるのだと。
I agreed to be a fate of nothingness, to give up my soul to the Guardians and be removed from the time axis.
それでも、誰かを救えるのならそれでいい。
As long as I meant that someone, as long as it meant that someone else would be saved.
かつてのエミヤ四郎は、 その誓いを守れなかった。
In the past, I couldn't keep my vow as Shira Emiya.
なら守護者となって人間の滅亡とやらを食い止める一端になるのならそれでいいと思ったんだ。
So I thought that if I became a guardian and joined the force that prevents humanity's destruction, that would be for the best.
だが実際は違う。守護者は人など救わない。
But the truth is different. Guardians don't save anyone.
守護者がすることはただの掃除だ。すでに起きてしまったこと、作られてしまった人間の業をその力で無にするだけの存在だ。
All they do is mop up. They exist only to use their power to erase everything humans have committed after the fact.
それは人を救うのではなく、世界に害を与えるであろう人々を善悪の区別なくなくすだけ。
They don't save people. They erase anyone who would do harm to the world by their good, be they good or evil.
絶望に嘆く人々を救うのではなく、絶望と無関係に生を謳歌する部外者を救うために、絶望する人々を排除するだけの殺戮者。
Guardians are mass murderers who eliminate people in despair rather than saving them, so that others enjoy their lives elsewhere. Enjoying their lives elsewhere, they continue to live.
馬鹿げた話だ。それが今までの俺と何が違う。
It's completely absurd. How is it any different from anything else I've done? It's not different at all. In fact, it only created more despair. He couldn't make his dream come true on his own, so he devoted himself to a greater power. And he still ended up in the same place. He thought that a higher power might be able to grant his wish, but it was just a larger version of what he'd already been doing.
アーチャー、あなたはずっとそんなことを。
Is that what you've been carrying all this time, Archer?
それも慣れたよ。人間は繰り返す。どんな時代でも強者が弱者を奪い尽くすのだ。そしてそれが最も効率のいい繁栄だと思い知らされた。
I got used to that, too. Humans are creatures of habit. A strong take from a weak in every era, and I learned that it was the most efficient way to prosper.
ああ、何度も見てきた。
I saw it so many times.
意味のない殺戮も、意味のない平等も、意味のない幸福も。
Meaningless slaughter, pointless equality, and worthless happiness.
俺自身が拒んでも見せられた。守護者となった俺にはもはや自分の意志などない。ただ人間の意志によって生み出され、人間が作ってしまった罪の後始末をさせられるだけだったからな。
I was forced to see it, even when I didn't want to. Once I became a guardian, I lost my free will. I was summoned by the will of humans to clean up their own messes. That's the conclusion he arrived at. An existence that erases the despair other humans make. Guardians don't save anyone. They just erase the existence of people who aren't saved. Over and over. Whenever they seem human, they see humans do something that causes their own destruction, they show up and burn it all. The man became a hero, thinking he could save as many people as possible. But in the end, that wish never came true.
そうだ。それは違う。
It was all wrong.
俺が望んだものはそんなことではなかった。
That wasn't what I wished for.
俺はそんなもののために守護者になどなったのではない。
That's not what I became a guardian to do. Rage in his voice is probably directed at himself. The man that stands before us is a worn down wreck. A hero, the hero Emiya, was perpetually shown the ugliness of the people he wanted to save. In the end, he felt a hatred. Hatred at his past self for valuing the humans, who just kept taking from each other.
俺は人間の後始末など真っ平だ。だが守護者となった以上、この輪から抜け出す術はない。
I'm tired of cleaning up humanity's mess. But there's no way out of the cycle now that I'm a guardian.
そう。ただ一つの例外を除いて。
Except for one. His cold eyes gleam with unshakable bloodlust. They aren't looking at Saber. Archer's sole objective is to raise himself. However, even since he died, he can't erase the original Emiya that existed in a place outside of a time axis. It's impossible to erase someone who's become a guardian. Guardians are of a void. There's no point in killing someone who doesn't exist in the world's axis. However, if it were possible, there could only be one way. If he were to kill himself before he became a hero, then that hero would never be born. Therefore,
シロをここで殺すというのですか。他でもない。あなた自身の手によって。
So, you're going to kill Shiro with your own hands?
そうだ。その機会だけを待ち続けた。果てしなくゼロに近い確率だ。
Yes, I've been waiting for this chance. The probability of this happening was nearly zero.
だが、それにかけた。そう思わなければ自身を許容できなかった。ただその時だけを希望にして、俺は守護者などというものを続けてきた。
But I still gambled on it. I couldn't live with myself if I didn't. I continued working as a guardian, hoping for this opportunity to come.
それは無駄です、アーチャー。
It won't work, Archer.
あなたはすでに守護者として存在しているのでしょう。ならもう遅い。今になって英雄となる前のエミやシロを消滅させたところで、あなた自身は消えはしない。
You already exist as a guardian, so it's too late. Even if you were to kill Shiro Emiya now, you yourself wouldn't disappear.
そうかもしれん。だが、可能性のない話ではあるまい。
Maybe you're right. But there's still a possibility it could work.
過去の改ざんだけでは通じないだろうが、それが自身の手によるものならば、矛盾は大きくなる。
It may be impossible to do after the past. But if I do it myself, paradox might be too large.
歪みが大きければ、あるいはここでエミヤという英雄は消滅する。
So large, perhaps, that the hero Emiya might simply cease to exist.
それにな、セイバー。俺はこの時だけを待って守護者を続けてきたのだ。今さら結果など求めていない。
Besides, Saber, I've only carried on as a guardian this long because I was waiting for this moment. I'm not about to have any sudden hope for saving grace.
これはただの八つ当たりだ。くだらぬ理想の果てに道化となり果てる。エミヤシロという小僧へのな。
Just taking out my anger on the boy Shiro Emiya, who acts like a clown for his pathetic ideals. And then, the Red Knight steps into the same hall that I'm in. Only he and I stand amid the rubble. No obstacles separate us. Our reasons for being here are simple. He wants to kill me, and I can't stand him, so I'm going to kick his ass. I step into the center of the hall. A few more steps and there will be no going back. Before that, Archer, do you regret it? There's one question I need to ask him.
無論だ。いや、お前は正義の味方になぞなるべきではなかった。
Of course I do. No. You never should have tried to be a hero of justice. He spits the words out like venom. That's the last push I need. I see. When we are two different people.
何?
What? I don't regret anything, no matter what happens. I won't regret this path. That's why I will never accept you. If you claim to be my ideal self, then I strike you down. Those flawed ideals with my own hands. That's how I've lived. I've come this far believing that it was right. It probably is mostly pride, like I said. I've lost more than I've gained. But still. Shiro Emiya won't back down, not even even for what he's lost. I advance. A circuit in the back of my mind has already begun to sketch a blueprint.
その考えがそもそもの元凶なのだ。お前もいずれ俺に追いつく時が来る。
That way of thinking is the root of it all. One day, you catch up to me. Like hell I will.
ほう。それはつまり、その前にここで俺に殺されるということか。
Oh, so you let me kill you here then? I step towards my enemy. We're close enough to cross swords now. Neither of us are armed. We're going to get at it, barehanded. Shiro Emiya isn't a swordsman. We make swords, so.
分かっているようだな。
Looks like you understand.
俺と戦うということは、牽制を競い合うということだと。
A battle with me means a sword-making competition. His hands grip a pair of swords. That night, that simple pair of blades that took my breath away at Ryodo Temple. They were rare masterworks forged by a famous smith with the cost of his wife's life. Trace on. Begin projection. I initiate my prepared blueprint and replicate the sword just by visualizing them. They are so flawed. My swords, which I thought were perfect, were terribly vague compared to his. My inferior imagination has produced a degraded delusion. Most likely, they shatter against his swords. I take another step forward. A deliberate, firm step. Rubble crumbles beneath my feet. Sound seems to declare the start to the duel.
俺の牽制についてこれるか?
Can you keep up with my replication?
わずかでも精度を落とせば、それがお前の死に際になろう!
The instant your precision drops, you'll die. Our swords confront each other. An identical pair of weapons, 4 blades, overlap as if attracted by magnetic force and clash. Another interlude. He easily tracks his target down. Answer may seem as if he specializes in combat, but he's actually quite skilled at magecraft. He learned to master more than just Gay Borg. In that arcane fortress called the Land of Shadows. He's a hero because he learned the 8 primordial runes. 18, sorry. Of course, he rarely flaunts his magical skills because he prefers to fight with a spear rather than magecraft. Today is one of those rare occasions.
よし、当たりか。
Got them. He dropped something which had been running on the ground. A rock inscribed with a Bearcono rune returns to being a mundane pebble. Its task complete.
誰だお前。
Who the hell are you? The boy he hasn't seen before stands up in panic. A shrill voice sounds familiar. Lancer retracts that thought and realizes who this is.
ライダーのマスターじゃねえか。なんだ、とっくの昔にくたばったもんと。
Aren't you Rider's master? Huh. I thought you kicked the buckets a while ago. He breaks off. Rin Tosaka is behind the boy. She's tied to a chair. That's fine. She's being held captive, so it makes sense. But several details stand out. First, her chair is tipped over. Since Rin Tosaka is tied to a chair, she's on the ground too. There's hand in her long black hair, and something red around her mouth. She probably cut her lips. It's slight, but one can make out bruises around her lips.
お前、ランサーか。なんだよ。誰に断ってここに来たんだ。話が違うぞ。お前は。
Are you Lancer? Who sent you here? This wasn't the deal. A casual this plants itself in Shinji's Mato's cheek. Lancer's trivial backhand sends the boy crashing into a wall.
おお、ああ、悪いなガキ。口より先に手が出ちまった。
Oh, sorry about that, kid. My hand moved before my mouth did. He looks unconscious, but not dead. Granted, if Rin Tosaka's face has been a little paler and her clothes more disheveled, it wouldn't have ended up with just a knockout. He would have paid a heavy price. To be clear, Lancer doesn't care about the treatment of prisoners. But he doesn't like it when someone else steals his prey. Of course. Enemies he kills and women he's fond of both count as his prey. Rin Tosaka wonders aloud from her bound position. Her voice sounds sleepy, as if she was unconscious.
いや、朝だぜ。起きろぐうたら。
Hey, it's morning, sleepyhead. Lancer approaches her with an out-of-place greeting.
なんでここアインツベルンの城よ。
Huh? Wait, this is the Einsberg Castle?
承知している。ああ、いいから動くな。今その手枷を切ってやる。その後は好きにしろ。広間に行ってバカどもの喧嘩を止めるなり、裏口から帰るのも自由だ。
I know. Just stay still, I'm going to cut your bindings. You can do as you please after that. It's up to you whether you want to go stop those idiots brawling in the hall, or leave out the back door. His crimson spear materializes in a whirl of air.
それは助かるけど。ランサー、後ろ。
Oh, thanks. Lancer, behind you! Rin's warning makes him turn.
な、に
Someone even he didn't expect stands there. In the corner of the room, with firm footsteps, a man walks past where Shinji Mato's pancaked into the wall.
そこまでだランサー。協力しろとは言ったが、深入りしろとは言わなかったぞ。
That's enough, Lancer. I told you to cooperate with them, but not to involve yourself this deeply. Kiriko Tomine, who they thought Caster killed. Rin yelps in surprise. Lancer glares suspiciously at the priest.
おい、いつから終始買いしやがったんだお前。
Oi, when did you convert to a new religion?
俺のマスターは表には出てこないのが信条だったんじゃなかったか。
I thought my master didn't believe in coming to the front lines.
変えるような終始などない。そういうお前こそ命令違反だぞ、ランサー。アーチャーの始末を命じたはずだが、潜んじたか？
I have no faith to convert from. You are the one who disobeyed orders, Lancer. I thought I ordered you to eliminate Archer. Did you fail?
あれは放っといても自滅する。その前にやり残した仕事を片付けに来たんだが、お前がここにいるということは、そこのガキはお前の差し金か？
He killed himself whether I lift a finger or not. I came here to wrap up some unfinished business. I was going to ask why you're here, but I assume you put that kid up to this.
人聞きが悪いな。彼とは協力関係だ。聖杯を手に入れるため、共に認め合った仲だが。
I don't appreciate such insulations. What? I don't appreciate such initiations. Sorry. We are collaborators, mutual allies working together to obtain the Holy Grail. Shinji Mato groans underneath the rubble. The priest doesn't even spare him a glance.
そう。あんたがそう簡単にくたばるわけないと思ったけど、しぶとく生きてるばかりか。裏でこそこそ手を回してたのね。
Okay, I figured you wouldn't die that easily. Not only are you as a priest, as a cockroach. You've been pulling strings behind the
悪
scenes.
趣味ここに極まるっていうか、人畜無害な神事を懐柔してどうしようっていうのよ、キレ。
Talk about awful taste. Why are you manipulating someone as harmless as Shinji?
なるほど。あれを人畜無害と取るか。この状況においてもお前は遠坂凛らしい。もう少し出来の悪い弟子ならば惜しむこともないのだが。
He's harmless to you, is he? How very like you to say that, Rin. I would have no criticisms of you at all if you were only slightly less capable. If you're only a slightly less capable apprentice. The priest chuckles. His expression is that of a priest blessing someone on their deathbed. A chill runs down Rin's back. She realizes what her fate is. The priest looks down at his apprentice of 10 years with a sanity smile.
待てよ、琴峰。
Saintly
その
smile.
女はどうするつもりだ？教え子を助けたいと言ったお前の言葉は嘘だったのか？
Hold on, Kotomina. What are you going to do with that woman? Do you lie? Did you lie when you said you wanted to help your student? Lancer stands between his master and the girl, glaring.
嘘なものか。彼女はここまで育てた大切な駒だ。10年にわたり欺き続けたのだから、そう簡単にリタイアされてはつまらん。
Of course not. She's an important pawn whom I've worked hard to nurture. I can hardly retire her now after deceiving her for the last decade.
故に、お前に彼女の警護を任せたのだ。わずか2日ばかりの延命だったが、親心としては十分すぎるのではないかな。
That's why I assigned you to protect her. It's only extended her life by 2 days. But wouldn't you say that that's more than enough parental affection? Priest walks past Lancer to look at the girl, sprawled on the floor. Then glares up to her former mentor.
SS 神父。あんたならやりかねないと思ったけど、本当にマスターだったなんてね。監督役のくせにゲームに参加するなんて、反則もいいところじゃない。
You phony priest. I knew you were capable of anything, but you've actually been a master this whole time. Breaking the rules doesn't even begin to describe a referee playing the game himself.
その割には落ち着いているな、リン。やはり気づいてはいたのか。
And yet you are taking this very calmly, Rin. You must have figured it out.
当然でしょ。自分のサーバントを見せなかったのもあんたを疑ってたからだもの。けどね、まさか初めっから騙されてるとは思わなかったわ。
Of course I did. The reason I never showed you my servant was because I suspected you. But I didn't think you'd trick me from the very start.
初めから。
The very start? The priest frowns. It seems that he wasn't expecting her to say that.
何よ。文句あるっていうの？キレ。
What? You've got a problem with that, Kirei?
いや、初めからというが、それはどのあたりを指しているのかと思ってな。
Oh, I'm just wondering when you exactly mean by the beginning. His lips twist into a sneer. The priest gazes down with a look of true elation.
キレ、あんた。
Wait, Kirei, you...
それは今回の聖杯戦争が始まってからか。
Do you mean from the beginning of this Holy Grail War?
それとも、お前が言う初めからとは、
Or are
前
you
回の聖杯戦争を言っているのかね。
Or are you speaking of the previous war? Then everything falls into place. Rin's face goes pale, and she stares up at the man who mentored her for 10 years with an incredulous look.
そう。殺したのはあんただったんだ。
So, you killed him?
当然だろう。恩師であったからな。騙し討ちはたやすかった。
Naturally, he was my master whom I owned a great deal. I spared no effort in betraying him. There's a grinding noise. The girl is staring at the ground, gritting her teeth in anguish.
行き場に迷えクソ神父。断言してやるけど、あんたに居場所なんてないんだからね。地獄だってあんたみたいなのは願い下げで、煉獄だって他の連中がずぶとくなるってんでたらい回しよ。
Fuck off and die, you damn priest. Even hell is too good for you. Hope everyone else beats the shit out of you forever in limbo.
あんたみたいな生き損ないはね、性に合わない天国あたりで針のむしろにくるまってろっての。
A piece of shit like you deserves to get turned into a pinchinchon just outside of heaven, where you definitely don't belong. In rage, she hurls abuse after abuse at him. Of course, the priest is unbothered by such trifles. Sorry. Someone else is taken aback by the girl's sudden fit, however. Shinji has never imagined that Rin could bear such emotion, even in his dreams.
琴峰、遠坂は僕がもらったんだって知ってるだろ。あいつに用があるのは僕だけだ。あんたはただ教会でこっちの守備を待ってればいいんだよ。
Kotomine, I said I'd take Tosaka, remember? I'm the only one who still has business with her. You just need to wait at the church for me to wrap things up.
いや、用ならばある。彼女にはここで聖杯になってもらわねばならないからな。
No, I still need her too. I will have her become the Holy Grail. Shinji doesn't understand what the priest is saying. Only the priest and the girl he intends to sacrifice to.
アーチャーとセーバーが消えればいい加減頃合いだ。
This would be an opportune time to eliminate Archer and Saber.
いらぬ抵抗をされ、鮮度を落とされても困る。ことは迅速に済ませてしまおう。
If they offer any unnecessary resistance, it will affect her freshness. We should settle this quickly. The priest steps away from the girl. Only Lancer is in front of Rin now, armed with a spear.
琴峰貴様
Kotomine, you little.
そのゴミを始末しろ、ランサー。器に心臓はいらん。
Dispose of this garbage, Lancer. The vessel does not need a heart. Only Shinji reacts to those words. Rin just glares at the priest, gnashing her teeth. The priest smiles or already told her that she is going to die here. She knows that no help is coming, and that no one would hear her even if she begged for help. So she abruptly refuses to snivel. It's the only form of resistance she can offer, and it represents her defiance. She won't give up until the very end. Help might still come at the last possible second, or a miracle might even occur, like something that destroys the entire room, leaving only her intact.
ありえない話だけど
I know it's impossible, though. She won't give up, but she knows that it isn't what it is, and it isn't possible. God damn. Sorry. That's why she isn't very scared. There's just one thing she's worried about. It's awkward to imagine what face you make when he comes to save her after she's dead. She doesn't want to make him cry. Pisses her off thinking that she'll make him cry. And she doesn't know how to apologize for it. Of course, she can't apologize if she's dead, but she still doesn't want him to cry.
ごめんエミヤ君私先にリタイアする
Sorry, Emiya. Guess I'm tapping out first. So she apologizes now, while she still can. It doesn't matter, but it at least makes her feel more at ease.
どうしたランサー。相手は少女だ。貫くのはたやすかろう。
What's wrong, Lancer? Your opponent is a young girl. It should be easy enough to stab her. The priest has no mercy. However,
お断りだ今回のは従えねえ俺にやらせたかったらその霊樹でも使うんだな
forget it. I'm not playing along this time. If you want me to do that, use a command spell. Lancer answers Rin enemies with defiance.
何
What? The priest narrows his eyes. Master and servants glare daggers at each other. And the temperature in the room seems to drop.
そうか。仕方あるまい。自分でできることに霊樹を消費するわけにはいかんのだが。
I see. You leave me no choice. I hate to waste a command spell on a task I can do myself, but... The priest lifts his left arm. He activates the command spell inscribed on it.
では命じよう。自害しろ、ランサー。
When I order you to kill yourself, Lancer. Lancer coughs blood, but the red droplets that dribble from his mouth pale in comparison to the torrent of gushing from his chest.
琴峰貴様
Damn you, Kotomine. His murmur can't even be heard. Lancer has stabbed himself through the chest with his own spear, completely destroying his heart.
さらばだ。お前の役目はとうに終わっている。
Goodbye. Your role in this is over. The azure armored spearman collapses to the floor. Cooling scarlet seeps into the floor. Lancer shows no sign of getting up. He has fallen to his own spear, on his master's order. The priest moves. He approaches Rin with an easygoing steps and takes the knee next to her. He reaches out with a hand to the bound girl's chest as if to pluck her heart out.
琴峰、約束が違うじゃないか。遠坂は僕にくれるって言っただろう。
Hey, that wasn't the deal, Kotomine. You said I could have Tosaka. The priest glances at Shinji without answering.
ダメだ。遠坂はダメだ。そいつには借りがいっぱいあるんだから、生きていてくれなくちゃ困る。
You can't. You can't kill Tosaka. I still owe her a lot. I need her to live. Oh? What does he owe her? Huh? Shinji whines. His back to Lancer's corpse. But his protest dies off. The boy cowers away from the priest's severe gaze. The priest looks back down at the girl.
最後に何か言い残すことはあるか。遺言ぐらいは聞こう。
Any last words? I hear them out. A simple concession.
こういう時の私が何を考えているか、あんたなら知ってるはずでしょ?
You know what I'm thinking already. Rin answers him in her usual tone.
そうだな。最後まで諦めないのがお前だ、リン。
Suppose I do. You won't give up until the end, Rin.
同時に覆らない現実を瞬時に認めるのもお前の素晴らしさだ。
At the same time, your ability to instantly accept hard truths is one of your greatest strengths.
いいぞ。その矛盾はなかなかに芳醇だ。
Very good. That contradiction is quite delectable. He doesn't hesitate. The priest roughly shoves his hand into the girl's chest, over her heart. Over where her heart would be. She closes her eyes. There's a stabbing sound. Her heart is pierced and blood spills out. A stone rune becomes a tomb for yet another dead body. Rin is the one who gasps. The floor is drenched in blood. Dripping comes from somewhere high up. From the floor, Rin looks up to see that it's coming from the priest's chest. Blood rises from his esophagus. The hole in his chest is obviously a fatal wound. And the thing that stabbed him from behind is no other than a cursed spear known especially for piercing. The priest feels no emotion. He simply looks at Lancer behind him, blood running from his mouth. Lancer, you.
あいにくだったな、琴峰。この程度でくたばれるんならよ。俺は英雄になんぞなってね。
Too bad for you, Kotomine. I wouldn't be a hero if this much was enough to kill me. Lancer's sardonic tone clearly sounds like a bluff. There isn't a hint of vitality in it. Without a heart, his body is already starting to fade. He pulls a spear out of Kotomine, who collapses lifelessly to the ground. Trained in the arcane and blessed by the divine, he might have been. But he was still only human. There was no surviving a thrust to the heart from Lancer's cursed spear.
たく結局こうなったか、たけ。
So that's how this ends, you fool. Lancer leans his crumbling body against the wall. But it buys him a little time. After collapsing, once he's bound to disappear for good. He's lost his heart and his master. The only reason his body is somehow still holding together is because of his legendary tenacity.
いいじゃんいいじゃん。バカどもは勝手に殺し合ってたよ。
Nice. You dumbasses. Go ahead and kill each other.
Shinji?
Shinji? Shinji is cackling behind Rin. Back to her sense. Shinji's cackling brings Rin back to her senses after watching the priest die.
何が聖杯は君のものだ。だよ。役立たずは最後まで役立たずだったな、神父さん。
What? Was all that about taking the Holy Grail? You were fucking useless until the very end, father. Shinji kicks the priest's body. It doesn't move at all. Pleased with himself, the boy kicks the priest's face as hard as he can, making a dry crunching noise. The sound of a section of the sensation of delight. Shinji more than he expected.
けど文句は言わないでおくよ。さっきのことは根に持ってないし、死んじゃったやつにあれこれ言うのはみっともないしさ。
Don't complain now. I won't hold what you said earlier against you, since it would be pretty lame to talk shit about a dead man. Shinji snickers. Having lost all reservation, he closes in on Rin eagerly.
待たせたね、遠坂。いろいろ邪魔が入ったけど、これでようやく二人きりだ。残るサーバントもあと3人。ここで君が泣き疲れた頃には、全部型がついてるさ。
Sorry to keep you waiting, Tosaka. Everyone keeps getting in the way, but we're finally alone now. There's still three more servants. I'm sure it'd be all over by the time you're tired of crying. Shinji scrambles forward on all fours like a lizard, looming over Rin.
けどよかった。お前にはいろいろ用があったんだ。ほんと困るよ、遠坂。簡単に死なれちゃあさ。ここまで我慢してきた僕に申し訳がないってもんだろ。
But I'm glad you're still here. I'm not finished with you yet. You're such a pain, Tosaka. If you go on dying on me, won't that be really unfair to me? For me being this patient?
さあ、こびてみろよ、遠坂。お前の態度次第で助けてやらないこともないぜ。
Come on, make some puppy eyes at me. It might help you depending on your attitude.
それに、聖杯はもう僕のものだ。ここで僕のものになるって言うなら、お前にだって分けてやっても。
Besides, the Holy Grail is as good as mine. I share it with you if you become mine.
呆れた。本当にバカじゃないのあんた。
Unbelievable. You really are a moron. Tied up and on the ground, Rin scoffs like she's talking to a child.
なんだって？
What did you just say?
まだ懲りないのかって言ってるのよ、シンジ。あんたは綺麗にいいように使われてただけでしょ。
I'm shocked that you still haven't learned your lesson, Shinji. Kiryu was just manipulating you.
いい？あのサーバントは扱いきれるものじゃない。
Listen to me. You can't handle that servant.
そんなこと 近くにいるんだからあんただって分かってるでしょ。ならいい加減目を覚まして、こんな殺し合いから手を引けっていうの。
Even you should be able to tell because you're close to him. So open your eyes already and quit this deathmatch.
今ならまだ間に合うのはそっちの方よ。死にたくなかったら1秒でも早くここから逃げ出しなさい。
It still isn't too late for you. If you don't want to die, then get out of here as soon as you can.
何を言い出すかと思えば結局は命乞いじゃんか。バカはお前だよ遠坂。目障りな琴峰は死んだんだぜ。今さら何が僕の邪魔をするって言うんだ。
So you're just gonna beg for your life, is that it? You're so dumb, Tosaka. That jackass Kotomine is dead. Who's going to stop me now? Shinji reaches for Rin's body. But the second he does,
おい、
he goes flying for a second time. Shinji slams into a wall again.
ガキが。そいつはてめえなんかが触れていい女じゃねえ。
Little punk. That isn't a woman the likes of you can touch. Lancer glances at Shinji and lazily walks over to Rin.
何？死に損ないの分際で僕に意見しようっていうの？
What? You're still gonna mouth off at me when you're a dead man walking? Spearman stops. He turns and faces Shinji.
おとなしく寝ていれば苦しまずに死ねたってのにな。さっきといい今度といい、お前楽には殺さないからな。
You could have died peacefully if you'd just taken a dirty nap. Now, I'll make it hurt for what you just did.
ほら、出番だぜギルガメッシュ。こいつ、カッコつけて死にたいんだってさ。
Come on, Gilgamesh, you're up. This guy wants to die like a badass. Shinji raises his voice. He calls for a servant, the mighty slayer of heroes.
おい、なんだよ。何やってんだよあいつ。
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
聞こえないのか。早く来いって言ってるだろ。
Are you listening? I said get out of here! Get out here, I mean. His voice rings out. The golden servant does not appear. The bloody blue spearman takes a step toward Shinji.
くそくそくそくそくそ。なんだよお前。死に損ないのくせに何かっこつけてんだよ。消えろよ。目障りだってわかんないのかよこの化け物。
Hey, shit. What the fuck? You're supposed to be dead. Stop trying to look cool. Just die. Don't you come how lame? Don't you know how lame you look, you months? A strike whips out. A single precise strike, like a flash of light, stabs Shinji in the right shoulder. The screams fill the room. Answer withdraws the spear. Looking bored, he puts his face in front of Shinji's.
うせろ。死に損ないでもな。お前程度なら1000人殺したところで支障はない。
Get lost. I might be on the verge of death, but I could kill thousands more like you. Easy. Hugging the wall and cowering away from the spear pointed at him, Shinji leaves the room in a mad scramble.
たく、無駄な体力使わせやがって。
Huh. Waste of energy. With a heavy sigh, Lancer walks back over to Rin. The wind-cutting spear severs her bindings like tissue
ありが
paper.
とう。助かったわ、ランサー。
Thanks a lot, Lancer. Rin thanks him for her freedom. She bows to Lancer, ignoring the filth around them.
成り行きだからな。礼を言われる筋じゃねえ。
I just felt like it. No need to thank me. Suddenly he collapses limply.
ランサ
Rin can't catch him in the time. Lancer's too weak to even lean against the wall now, and he slumps on the ground. His legs don't move. His limbs were already long dead. It seems nonsensical that he managed to stand up, kill his master and set Rin free. Sudden cough of blood stains the blue armor further.
待ってて、すぐに傷を塞ぐから。
Hold on, I close your wounds. Rin rushes over to the bloody spearman, but he stops her with a hand.
無駄だ。俺のゲイボルクで破壊された心臓は簡単には治らん。
Don't bother. It won't be that easy to heal my heart after my Gaybox destroyed it.
大体な、そんな余分なマルカ残ってねえだろお前。
You don't have the energy to spare anyway.
けどそれじゃ。
But
まあ気にするな。こういうのには慣れてる。英雄ってのはな、いつだって理不尽な命令で死ぬものなんだからよ。
don't worry about it. I'm used to going out like this. Heroes always end up dying on someone else's orders, you know? His easygoing tone is the same as it always is. Even seconds away from death, the spearman doesn't change the way he acts. Rin stands up wordlessly. Seeing that, Lancer breathes a sigh of relief, as if a weight was lifted from his shoulders.
いや、お互いつまんねえ相棒を引いちまったな。
I guess we both grew pretty boring partners, huh?
そうね。けど、私のはつまんないっていうより、扱いづらいだけだったかな。
Yeah, well, mine is just hard to deal with, not boring.
違いない。お前のような女が相棒だったら言うことはなかったんだが、あいにく昔からいい女とは縁がなくてな。
You've got that right. I wouldn't complain if I had a woman like you for my partner. Sadly, I've never been involved with any good woman.
まったく、こればっかりは何度繰り返しても治らねえみてえだ。
Good grief. Looks like that's one habit I'll never fix. He chuckles dryly. And then?
さあ、早く行け。こいつは俺が連れて行く。
Oh, hurry on. I'll take him with me.
お前は、お前の相棒のところに戻らないと。
You need to go back to your own partner. The spearman urges the girl to leave. He prepares Anzu's fire rune in his hand. As soon as he inscribes it on the ground and charges it with his remaining magical energy, it will burn the entire room to cinders. Ren understands his determination and turns to leave.
さよならランサー。短い間だったけど、私もあなたみたいな人は好きよ。
Goodbye, people. Goodbye, Lancer. I didn't know you long, but I'm fond of people like you. She runs off to the great hall.
小娘が。もうちょっと年取って出直してこい。
Come back when you're older, lass. A hearty guffaw escaped his lips. Flame engulf him. The blaze consumes Lancer and his master's body. Not a trace is left behind. Like a mirage, the crimson spear and azure armor disappear into the flames. What a Chad. God damn. Identical swords clash. Shiro Emiya and the man attacks are completely equal. Yet, each time they clash, my blades break and I'm wounded badly. I'm cut deeply by attacks I should have intercepted. His kancho shatters my kancho and cuts me open in a sidelong slash. I desperately try to avoid the strike, but I can't. The wound isn't fatal, but it lacerates my muscles and will probably become a critical injury. Damn it. I bite back the pain and try to knock the enemy's Bakuya out of his right hand. But he shatters my weapon and blocks me there, too. Our swords and skills should be the same, but I'm facing an insurmountable wall.
お前の感想と俺の感想が同等とでも思ったか。お前はまだまだ基本コストの想定が甘い。
Did you think that your kancho could match mine? Your concept of the fundamental points is still lacking.
いかにイメージ通りの外見材質を保とうが、構造に利がなければ崩れるのは当然だ。イメージといえど、筋が通ってなければ瓦解する。
It's only natural that the weapons will crumble if there's no principles behind the structure. Even if the appearance and the materials match your visualization, it will collapse if the image doesn't make sense. Simultaneously, he unleashes attacks to cut open my flanks and my forehead. I immediately project a pair of swords to parry with. I have a headache so bad it nearly blinds me. This isn't from the burden of a projection. It's that headache from before. The hunch I had when I was looking for Tosaka. Fever I get every time I face him. This time is the greatest burden yet, and it's driving my body crazy. I fend off slash after slash. I attempt to cut him down in return. And each time the red headache burns my eyes. Is the contradiction of Shiro Emiya and the heroic spirit Emiya existing at the same time? Since the moment we recognize each other, my body has failed every time we made contact. I traced his swordsmanship and even acquired his replication skills. It makes sense that I picked it up quickly. After all, the skills are the most optimal combat technique for Shiro Emiya, honed over years of experience. Or could I not take to them quickly? In trying to catch up to him, I've learned things about my future self that I shouldn't have. My eyes got numb. Each swing of a sword, each shower of sparks creates flash of light, robbing me of my vision. My skill can't keep up, and each attack dyes my vision red. I wouldn't mind if it's all it was. My body is already torn to shreds. A headache is nothing compared to the feeling of having my stomach torn open with a branding iron. The problem is, the headache won't stop as long as there's something else to draw out from him.
都合5本目だな。投影による複製ではそろそろ限界か。お前の魔力量はよくわかっている。そのざまでは残り3本。わざわざあれを見せてやったというのに、未だそんな勘違いをしているとはな。
That's 5. You should be reaching your replication limit. I know your magical energy capacity all too well. You look like you have 3 left. I went out of the trouble to showing you all that, but you still have a wrong idea. I hear a hint of disappointment in his taunts. A wrong idea? As if it matters right now. More importantly, I need to do something about this headache. It's coming from you.
ともあれ、至ったところで不可能ではあるか。今のエミヤ四郎が生成できる魔力では足りない。
Anyway, it's impossible even if you've reached it. The current Shiro Emiya can't generate enough magic energy.
そう。どちらにせよ。
Yes, either way. My headache worsens. He brandishes swords as to settle this once and for all.
貴様に賞賛など一部たりともなかったということだ。
You never had a chance of winning this. And brings his sword down on my head in a crisscross slash. I raise my swords to defend, and they shatter. My body goes numb like it's been pounded with a sledgehammer. And the headache burns not just my eyeballs, but my brain. It's flowing in. So, this, right now, is even scarier than the pain. There are his memories. The reason he changed so much. I'm seeing fragments of the events that Shiro Emiya will experience in the future. I don't know if they are right or wrong. I'm sure nobody can get the judge of that. Beautiful things were ugly, and ugly things were beautiful. Objectively, there was nothing repulsive about them. So what made him go astray? Sophistry, misrepresentation, treachery, narcissism. Those make up most of what I saw. I am the bone of my sword. And yet he didn't seem to mind. He swore oaths and had ideals to uphold. He didn't care what he lost. Even if others betrayed him, he believed that there would be a future as long as he didn't betray himself. If he never complained or even showed himself getting hurt. Steel is my body and fire is my blood. Then, to the people around him, he was no different from a machine. He was useful to have around, so they used him. They only saw him as a tool. But even a machine can have ideals to uphold, so I accepted being treated as a convenient tool. I've created over 1,000 blades. Unknown to death, nor known to life. It wasn't something he could tell anyone else. The more he failed to save people, and the more people he killed, the less he could profess his ideals. Eventually, his only option was to stick to them as resolutely as he could. The result? Shiro Emiya failed to uphold the ideals he dreamt of even once. He learned that he was a nuisance, spouting foolish drivel. I have withstood pain to create weapons. Look, this was his fate. Look, this is where you will end up. My heart breaks. Don't feel sorry for him. 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 But my heart feels like it's going to break when I know that this is the path that awaits me. Yet, those hands will never hold anything. Everything you believed in, everything you believe in, after you were shown that it was all a lie and a fanciful dream, you still... We clash again. This time, he comes straight for my heart. Not with a dual sword, but some spike-like sword. I retreat to gain some distance. I'm holding a sword I replicated in the spur of a moment. I fight against the nausea. What did you just see? Get it. Forget you saw anything. I just need to defeat him now. I can't afford to dwell on anything else.
計算違いか。
I miscalculated.
前世の自分を考慮、憑依させることで、かつての技術を習得する魔術があると聞くが、俺と打ち合うたびに、お前の技術は鍛えられていくようだな。
I've heard of evocations where the user is possessed by a previous life to learn their past skills. And it looks like your skills are beginning to shape in each... It looks like your skills are being sharpened each time we fight. Hinting. I ready myself for his next strike.
となると、引き出したものは投影技術だけではあるまい。その顔、今にも吐きそうな最低の面構えからすると、お前も見たな。
Meaning that you're drawing more out of this than just projection. Look at your face. You look absolutely miserable. You must have seen it then. He holds his breath. Don't make me say it. Don't make me remember. If you tell me what I just saw, I...
ならば話は早い。それは全て事実だ。エミヤしろ。
That makes this faster then. It's all true, Shira Emiya. Red cloak flutters. In an instant he closes the gap and thrusts the spike at me. My weapon is destroyed in one blow. The sword I hastily project for the first time can't hold up against his weapons. And yet, he throws aside his weapon while I am unarmed. The next projection is Durandal, said to be a sword of conquerors. I skip 4 counts and instantly project a replica of his weapon. Of course, my imitation is broken with one attack. I've fallen. I was pushed back and fell backwards onto the rubble. And then, I'm surprised. Just that fall was enough to stain the rubble red. I just never noticed that my body is dead, off inside and outside.
そこまでだ。
Enough.
叶わないと知ってなおここに現れる愚かさ。生涯くだらぬ理想にとらわれ、自らの意志を持たなかったまがいもの。
You appear here like a fool, even knowing that you can't win. You have been a prisoner to ridiculous ideas your entire life. And you're a fake who doesn't have the will on his own.
それが自身の正体だと理解したか。
Do you understand who you really are now? His voice resounds. I'm covered in wounds. Each of them is deep enough to sink a finger into. I'm seriously screwed.
そんなものに生きている価値はない。
Someone like that doesn't deserve to live.
何よりこの俺が確信しているのだ。エミヤシロという男の人生に価値などない。
I guarantee it. Shiro Emiya's life is worthless.
ただ救いたいから救うなど、そもそも感情として間違えている。人間として故障したお前は、初めからあってはならない偽物だった。
Your emotion of wanting to save others is fundamentally wrong. You're a defective fake that never should have existed. I have almost no magical energy left. To make matters worse, my magic circuits are burning. They have been burning since yesterday's projection actually. Something that was about to break is now completely broken, that's all. My body protests that it still can fight. I've just been playing tough, pretending that my broken heart is whole. So, I need to stand up and beat him.
無駄なこと。俺はお前の理想だ。 叶うはずなどないと今ので理解できたはずだが。
It's futile. I'm your ideal self. You should know by now that you can't win against me. I invest what remains of my consciousness into all my circuits. My nerves splinter and scream. Within myself I weave together 8 counts without skipping a beat. Trace on. Begin projection. I acquire his dual swords, Kancho and Bakuya, a pair of masterworks forged by an ancient smith. I swing. I keep attacking over and over with all my remaining strength until I burn out. Dual swords need dual swords to intercept them. Archer switches weapon to Kancho and Bakuya, then defends against my combo without taking a single step back.
そうか。認めるわけにはいかないのは道理だな。
I see. Of course you'd refuse to accept it.
俺がお前の理想である限り、エミヤ四郎は誰よりも俺を否定しなければならない。
As long as I am your ideal, Shiro Emiya. Shiro Emiya has to reject me more than anyone. His calm words piss me off. He just keeps quipping at me, but I can hardly even breathe. Damn you. I attack desperately. He locks our swords together without parrying me. I'm being pushed back, weapons and all. There's a vast gap in our physical strength. I don't have a chance of winning a pushing match.
では聞くがな、シロ。
Then answer me this, Shiro.
お前は本当に正義の味方になりたいと思っているのか?
Do you really want to become a hero of justice? For an instant, this sudden question makes my mind go blank. What kind of question is that? I don't want to become one. I will become one. I put my muscles into it and glare right back at him. And he answers.
絶対にならなければならない。
That's right. You have to become one.
なぜならそれはエミヤ四郎にとってただ一つの感情だからだ。逆らうことも否定することもできない感情。
Because that's the only emotion Shiro Emiya feels. You can't deny or reject it.
たとえそれが自身の内から現れたものでないとしても。
Even if it isn't a desire that came from within yourself. His heart-wrenching words stop me in my tracks. What? It's a desire that didn't come from within me? I deny it before I even consider what that means. I can't let him make me say it. I can't realize what he means. Deep down, I know that if I comprehend what he means, then Shiro Emiya's very foundation will crumble away.
ほう。その様子では、うすうす感づいてはいたようだな。
Oh. It looks like you have started to sense it.
いや、初めから気づいていて、それを必死に遠ざけていただけだったのか。
Or perhaps you realize it right away.
思い出すことさえできないが。
Desperately try to distance yourself from the memory. I can't even recall it anymore. Oh. I clamp my lips shut. I don't want to know. I know, but I shouldn't know. Still, I finally realize that I have to know it. Shiro Emiya's paradox. The answer to what my mistake was, and what's wrong with me.
俺にはもはやお前の記憶などない。
I don't have your memories anymore.
だが、それでもあの光景だけは覚えている。一面の炎と充満した死の匂い。 絶望の中で助けを乞い叶えられた時の感情。エミヤキリツグという男の俺を助け出した時に見せた安堵の顔を。
But I still remember that scene. An inferno, as far as the eyes could see. And the dense odor of death, desperately begging for help. And the emotion of being saved. Ritsuko's Emiya's look of profound relief when he rescued me. I had accepted my death, and my heart was empty. When someone saved me, my rescuer smiled at me with tears in his eyes. When I saw that, I thought that he looked so happy.
そうだ。お前はただ一人助けられたことで、助けられなかった人々に後ろめたさを感じていたわけじゃない。
Yeah, you didn't have survivor's guilt for being the only person to be rescued.
ただ、エミヤキリツグに憧れただけだ。
You simply looked up to Kiritsuku Emiya.
あの男のお前を助けた顔があまりにも幸せそうだったから、
You
自
thought
分もそうなりたいと思っただけ。
you thought that you wanted to be like him, because he looked so happy when he rescued you. Right. Back then, I wasn't the one who was saved. I consider a thought that I'd been avoiding. If Kiritsuku caused that fire, then the guilt would have been unbearable. It was a tragedy without a single survivor. Kiritsuku must have searched for survivors like a man possessed. And then he found one. When none were expected. He found a child that should have been beyond helping and shouldn't have been alive. What a miracle that must have felt like. But I understood that he saved me. I didn't know his circumstances. It was good enough for me that someone rescued me from that hell. Even if the emotion was directed at himself, this will not save me. And the earnestness of wishing for someone to be saved were all genuine. And that was enough. It was enough for me that Kiritsuku Emiya saved me after I'd become nothing. That's why.
そう。子が親に憧れるのは当然だ。だが、お前はそれが行き過ぎた。
It is only natural for a child to look up at his parents, but you took it too far.
エミヤキリツグに、エミヤキリツグがなりたかったものに憧れるだけならよかった。
If you only wanted to be like Kiritsuku, or become what he wanted to be, that would have been enough.
だが、最後に奴はお前に呪いを残した。言うまでもないだろう。それがお前の全てだと言ってもいい。
But he left you that curse. I don't need to say it, do I? It means everything to you. Your dream, huh? That was the answer. The man even emptier than me heard my innocent words, entrusted his wish to me in relief, and passed away. From that moment on, Shiro Emiya had no choice but to become a hero of justice. My own feeling didn't matter. All I needed to do was become a person I looked up to, for the sake of someone I looked up to when I was young. The wish for everyone to be happy was an impossible one, which came from Kiritsuku, not me.
気づいているのだろう、シロ。
You must have realized by now, Shiro.
お前の理想はただの借り物だ。エミヤキリツグという男がなりたかったもの、エミヤキリツグが正しいと信じたものを真似ているだけに過ぎない。
Your ideals I borrowed were an imitation of what Kiritsugu failed to become, and what he believed was right. I grit my teeth and desperately tried to bolster my breaking heart. And yet,
正義の味方だと笑わせるな。
A hero of justice? Don't make me laugh.
誰かのためになるとそう繰り返し続けたお前の思いは決して自ら生み出されたものではない。
There's no way that the desire to live for others, which you've repeated countless times, came from yourself.
そんな男が他人の助けになるなどと思い上がりも甚だしい。
It's pure hubris for someone like you to want to help other people. His blades cut through the air. His swing filled with reproach rained down on me with unpreceded aggression. As I watch a raining flurry of blows, I accepted that I'm going to die here, just like I did 10 years ago. Impact after impact pounds me down. Once beautiful swordsmanship has deteriorated into brute force. My left arm trembles after blocking the strike. The shock of it has broken my fingers holding the sword. I scratch every bit of mental focus I have left to create a kancho, and just barely deflect another slash. He's got me. His fist assault already pushed me to a near death. I won't survive the next barrage of blows. Yet somehow, my heart is broken, but my body denies him with all his might. It screams that he's wrong. Like a part of me earnestly feels that it's wrong to admit it that he's right and let myself die here. I look up. My eyes aren't working. I don't see my enemy. I only replay his memories. Within them, there's an image of me huddled up like a turtle in its shell, trying desperately to survive. I hear more than a sound of blades clashing. It's him. With each attack, he berates himself.
そうだ。誰かを助けたいという願いが綺麗だったから憧れた。
That's right. You looked up to his wish to save people because it was pretty. I take his sword strike again and again. Bakuya is broken. Kancho is my last lifeline.
故に自身からこぼれ落ちた気持ちなどない。これを偽善と言わず何という。
That idea never sprung from you. If that isn't hypocrisy, then what is? Kancho breaks and my life begins to peter out. My chest hurts. Shiro Emiya's heart is torn apart, not by the waterfall of sword strikes, but by Archer's words.
この身は誰かのためにならなければならないと脅迫観念に突き動かされてきた。
You were driven by the obsession to live your life for others.
それが苦痛だと思うことも破綻していると気づく間もなくただ走り続けた。
You just kept running, never feeling like you were suffering or realizing that you were failing. Denial after denial. With each rejection, I lose my will to fight. My body already wants to retire, unable to take the physical shock. And yet, that very same body keeps denying him, desperately.
だが、所詮は偽物だ。そんな偽善では何も救えない。
But you're just a hypocrite. Your hypocrisy can't save anything.
いいな。もとより何を救うべきかも定まらない。
You don't even know what you're supposed to be saving. I'm sent flying. I sail through the air, not unlike during the encounter with Berserker. But I plant my feet. His blows threaten to send me tumbling into the rubble, but I stand my ground with all my might. My body knows. It's stubbornly refusing to fall because I know that I can't get up again once it does. I plant my broken kancho on the ground and use it to support my weight. I pitch forward, nearly falling over, and I can't get up. brace myself against Kanshou with both hands, holding onto it like a walking stick. I must look pathetic. From the side, I might even look like I'm kneeling before him.
その理想は破綻している。
Your ideals are morally bankrupt.
自身より他人が大切だという考え、誰もが幸福であってほしい願いなど、空想のおとぎ話だ。
The idea of valuing others over yourself, of wanting everyone else to be happy, is a fantasy, a fairy tale.
そんな夢を抱いてしか生きられないのであれば、抱いたまま溺死しろ。
If you can't live without clinging to that dream, then let it drag you to your death. My life isn't worth living. No. He said that my entire life was worthless. My weapons are gone. It's futile to even stand up. Meanwhile, he doesn't even look winded, much less wounded. This duel is decided. No, it was from the very beginning. There was no way Shiro Emiya could ever match the heroic spirit Emiya. But this is wrong too. If the gap in our abilities was truly that large, then this silly scuffle wouldn't even happen. It's my heart that lost this fight. I'm weak because I realized that I'm wrong and accepted that he's right. I've only lost on that front because... bullshit.
何?
What? Because my body has been protesting that it won't lose to you. Why else? Why else would I get stronger every time you dismissed my ideals as fake? Shut up. That's a lot of bullshit. I can reach him. I know I can. If my weapons are broken, I'll just use them as they are. If everything I have is broken, then I immobilize everything I don't have. If I haven't lost, then there are depths that I still yet to reach. My headache drops again. For an instant I see the scenery, probably for the last time. I can't understand him, but I think I can learn from his pain. He is a hero whose incantation express and judge himself. Right now, I can't understand the will behind those words, but I accept them in your place. My body. I chant the words loud and proud. Emiya's own words hurt him. He accepted that he chose to kill me. That's all he wanted at the end of his long journey. Then, just as you deny me, I strike you down, if it's the last thing I do. My body is made of swords. I whispered without thinking. I look up. On the verge of death, I stand up to him. I swallow a gulp of blood that was blocking my throat. The once fading Yang sword, Kanshou, is cloaked in a concrete image once more.
貴様まだ
You still? That's right. You say this is a dream? I've always known that. But I've kept believing in it because I think it's right. I followed in Kiritsuku's footsteps because it's a dream that won't come true and it's impossible and an impossible ideal. Even if it never comes true. If I keep running, I'll get close to it one day.
そうか。彼女の鞘。契約が切れたところで、その守護は続いている。
A sheath. It still protects you even when your contract is cut. I ready my sword. I don't care about that. Right now, I won't lose to you. I can't lose anyone else. But I never lose to myself. I need to keep being Shiro Emiya until the very end. It's an unbelievable fight between swords. He charges in despite being fully wounded. His fingers are broken, his limbs shredded. He hasn't even realized that he's not breathing anymore. The speed is insignificant and the blows he delivers are mediocre. He may have absorbed Archer's knowledge and advanced to a point where he can fight him, but he's back to being a boy again. He executes his haphazard mediocre attack. And yet, that first blow is heavier than any of the others' attacks before. Apathy turns to astonishment. The sword seems to shout. The boy swings long swords faster than his opponent ever imagined. Where's his power coming from? The vigor of their clash reaches an unexpected pitch. Damn you! Man can't even pivot to defense. Sorry. Each attack is lethal enough to take his head. He judges that this situation must be taken seriously and moves the swords accordingly. Up and down, left and right. 4 slashes unleashed in an instant are enough to cut the boy to ribbons. But he blocks them. No, the boy launches a bladed tempest that overcome the fourfold technique. He wields his longsword with swift skill. You little. The man senses that he must attack or be cut down. The longswords assail his dying enemy. The boy swings his sword full-heartedly. The two sides struggle. Sparks fill the air, declaring that anyone who enters the ring will be torn apart. But this should be the dying spark of a walking corpse. With each attack, the boy's breathing becomes more labored, and he looks closer to collapse. But he takes another step and attacks again. Having seen this, the man is sure of something. His enemy doesn't have any strength left. The boy in front of him is a walking corpse. And yet why does the boy continue to wield the sword, as if he has infinite strength? He isn't conscious of it. He doesn't know what his opponent is doing, nor can he tell if his attacks are working. He cries out, his muscles begging for oxygen. They demand that he stop due to a lack of blood. And he pushes through it all, with brute force. Mistake. Only one thought occupies his mind. His feelings are fake, just like this guy says. He probably can't become a hero of justice. As long as Shiro Emiya looks up to that goal, he reaches the same destination as the man before him. Not a mistake. But he felt that it was beautiful. He knows that it's hypocritical to value others over himself. And still, he longed for such a life, wondering how nice it would be to live that way. It's the only motivation driving his body forward on the verge of death. He can't hear what his enemy is saying. It speaks to how fierce the clash is and how meek his foe voice is. Looking closer, the boy's hands gripping the swords are melded with the hilt. He must have had done it to secure the sword, but by doing that, he will directly feel the impact of the sword. He's bloody, and if he keeps a single step back, he'll pitch over. The boys accepted that each swing of his sword will be hellish suffering. It irritates the man, but he takes it. It seems to offend his stubbornly persistent enemy. But he's just as irritated with himself for not backing down, when he knows that even one step back would end this. But how could he retreat now? There's no room for parley now, and he's in a pitched duel with his enemy. It would be shameful to turn his back on his childish forged sword. And it would be utterly humiliating not to meet the attacks head on. All it would take for his enemy to destroy himself is for the man to retreat one step. But he senses that all he have conceded something decisive if he backs down now. Soon, this worry will fade. His enemy is at his limits. 3 more attacks. If he repels just 3 attacks, then his enemy will destroy himself. He clicks his tongue at his own foolishness. Just earlier he thought the boy had 2 attacks left, when he delivered more than 10. The boy isn't going to fall. The boy's voice is inaudible. The boy who is on the brink of death frantically goes up against the obstacle before him. And then he sees him. He looks upon him with his own eyes for the first time. He keeps swinging his swords until I reach my foe, with arms ready to fall off. The only thing that can be heard is a strained yell. Mistake. That shout is the price to pay for each exchange of blows. There are the people who weren't saved, and myself who wasn't saved. The memories come unbidden, and I swore that I'd never let this happen again. Not a mistake. How many years have passed? There were things that were lost. Things I lost. There will always be things that I forget and fail to pick up. That's why I made an oath. I won't forget. To become a hero of justice, to always do what's right. Even if it isn't my own wish. Even if it's just a way of lightening my own sins. I keep that oath. I make the dream come true. When I was young, someone saved me and trusted me with his dream, and passed away alone. I believe in the wish behind his words. Even if the whole world shuns me, and the oath turns out to be a curse, I won't give it up. And then, the man realizes that there is no end to this repeating conflict. This enemy will not stop. The enemy will not stop on his own. His enemy makes each attack with desperate abandon, but he isn't even aware of who he's fighting. The boy is trying to cut down himself. He is the one who is doing the obstructing. The man's enemy is swinging his swords for everything he's believed in, and everything he will continue to believe in. Realizing that, the man gnashes his teeth. He sees the boy keep fighting. Even if he knows he can't win. Even if he knows there's no point. That is the exact mistake the man once made. So why? Why does he want to see how far this boy will go? That's enough! Die! He raises his longsword. The enemy's attacks can no longer be trifled with. He repels the attacks and counters with a strike, meant to crush the enemy's skull with certainty. The high-pitched sound of metal. The boy repels what should have been the decisive blow. He couldn't even stop one attack until now, but he easily defended against a strike delivered with a man's full might. He holds his breath. The enemy flickers his swords and resheaths in a single large stance. but his eyes were looking straight at him. The impact breaks one of his limbs. My sense of pain isn't numb at all. Pain is enough to knock me out, but I push through with sheer rage. I'm dehydrated. I can't afford to lose any more liquid. The enemy's left arm is wide open. I've lost one side of my body, so this will have to be the last blow. But that thought doesn't enter my head. All I can think is... He slashes with the long swords in the effort to protect his exposed left chest. He can make it. It would be easy to close the distance. This is my last chance. It wasn't a mistake. It's the only thought of my mind. Even if Shiro Emiya is fake, this is real. He wants everyone to be happy. It's an idea that everyone's felt, I'm sure. So I won't take it back. Because this dream will always be. His gaze is straight. Mistakes and lies. He shakes off everything that pierces him. And he continues to run without stopping. It was never a mistake. Words drive straight into his chest. The attack comes, fueled by a hell-bent determination. There's enough time to block it. But the gears never turn in his head, and the battle draws to an abrupt close. Stab. He hears the sound of a blade piercing his chest. The surprised one is, of course, a Red Knight. The boy bet everything on a desperate attack, so he would expect it to defeat his opponent. He couldn't afford to make any other choice anyway. So it is the knight who is surprised. Truly, he wonders why he didn't defend against an attack that would have been easy to stop. I'm about to collapse, so I lean on my good right leg. I drove Kancho into Archer's chest.
Archer. なぜ?
Why, Archer? Has she been watching the whole time? Saber asks a question from the entrance to the hall. Archer doesn't answer. Maybe he feels that he doesn't need to. Or maybe he doesn't have an answer for her. My fingers feel numb. My broken fingers tell me that they can't hold a sword anymore. The Red Knight doesn't move. It might have stabbed him through the chest, but he's a servant, so he could easily counterattack. His arms remain at his side and show no sign of movement. I know what that means, of course. I win. Archer. I fix my gaze on him and declare victory. The Red Knight closes his eyes once and admits.
そして私の敗北だ。
Yes, and I lose. He stares into the distance. His murmur sounds like it was meant to convince himself. I pull out the sword. The moment my projected sword touches the air, it disappears into dust. Disperses into dust, as if it never existed. I finally look around, my attention drained. Huh? What a wreck. My lacerations look like they're on the mend, but in some places they're turning into a reddish-black color. Archer said something about it being Saber's sheath, but I wonder how it decides who to heal first. It heals the cuts right away, but broken bones seem to be lower priority. Oh, I hear hurried footsteps coming from the west side of the hall, in the direction Lancer disappeared off to. Someone's coming. She appears on the second-story terrace, jumps down to the hall floor, without hesitating and... hugs herself from the pain of the fall.
シロ、無事？
Shiro, are you...
あーちゃん、あんたその傷どうしちゃったのよ？
Wait, Hacha, why are you all beat up? Osaka raises her voice to match her distress with she's arrived. Lancer rescued her just as promised. Plus, I'm honestly amazed to see Tosaka alive and well. Can't decide if she wants to check if I'm okay or be upset at Archer for getting injured.
まったくつくづく甘い。
You're truly naive.
彼女がもう少し非道な人間なら、私もかつての自分になど戻らなかったもの。
If only you'd been a slightly more ruthless person, I wouldn't have gone back to being my old self. The Red Knight's words are sarcastic, but I can only hear warmth behind them. After giving Tosaka a look, he turns on his heel, as if to leave the stage.
ともあれ、決着はついた。お前を認めてしまった以上、エミヤなどという英雄はここにはいられん。
Anyway, the matter is settled. Now that I have accepted you, the hero Emiya can't stay here any longer.
敗者は早々に立ち去るとしよう。
The loser should depart quickly. He isn't even going to say goodbye to Tosaka? He's heavily wounded and he doesn't have a master. If he's going to disappear here and return to where the other heroic spirits come from... Huh? It all happened in an instant. A lethal attack just as I began to relax around Tosaka. Multiple swords rain down. The torrent of blades come down to skewer me, and I stand around spacing out. I hit the ground. Someone pushes me and I fall backwards onto some rubble. I was shoved about a meter away. From where I am, I can only watch. My broken limbs can't support my body, and I'm too weak to even stand up. Instead, all I can do is watch another version of me getting skewered before my very eyes.
何者？
Who's there? Saber challenges breaks the silence. Her voice is directed at the second floor, at the top of the broken stairs.
楽しませてもらったぞ。偽物同士。実にくだらない戦いだった。
I ever enjoyed that. It was a truly pathetic fight between two fakes.
貴様、アーチャー。
10年ぶりだな、セイバー。お前とはもう少し早く顔合わせをする気であったが、予定が変わった。予想外の事故ばかり起きてな。俺の思惑とはずれてきてしまった。
It's been 10 long years, Saber. I meant to come to see you sooner. The plan changed. Unforeseen accidents kept popping up. You see, and they threw off my calculations. It's Gilgamesh, the servant who defeated Berserker and killed Ilya. He ignores Saber, glares and looks down at me and Archer.
さて、理解したか？それが本物の重みというものだ。
Do you understand the weight of a genuine article now?
いかに形を似せ力を似せようが、所詮は作り物。本物の輝きには及ばない。
No matter how similar in appearance and strength it might be, forgery is a forgery. It can never reach the brilliance of original. He raises a hand, as if about to command an army.
偽物が作り上げた贋作など見るのも汚らわしい。
The mere sight of a fake's counterfeit offends my sight.
クズめ。 貴様らのうちには何一つ新作が存在せぬ。
You scum. You lack even a single genuine work in your heart.
他人の真似事だけで出来上がった偽物は解くゴミになるがいい。
Fakes who can only copy the works of others should be disposed of like the trash you are. He unleashes countless noble phantasm into the hall. An unavoidable torrent falls on us. I count just under 30 noble phantasms. Even if I was still in one piece, there's nothing I could do to defend myself against this assault. Dust fills the air. The hall collapses even further, rocketed by explosions. In the middle of it all, I see him. A fluttering red cloak. He runs towards me like a pincushion and gives me another shove. I watch his red figure fade into the distance. His eyes convey a firm message. You defeat him. He tells me that since he lost to me, and I'm going to become a hero of justice, this is a villain I have to defeat. A cloud of dust blocks out my vision. The red cloud sinks into the rubble. I'm sure I saw him before he left. His confident eyes declare, his servant is no match for us. It won't be Saber or Tosaka who defeats him. My other self tells me that Shiro Emiya is the golden servant's natural enemy. My vision clears up. A layer of dust settles over the hall, now covered in a new layer of rubble. Nothing else happens. The Red Knight disappeared after he was buried under the rubble.
ほう、驚いたぞアーチャー。あの傷で他人を救う余裕があったとはな。
What a surprise, Archer. You still had enough into you to protect someone with those wounds. His tone is filled with desertion and irony. The man's lips curl into a smirk. He looks down at Archer's bloody remains. Silence falls. Gilgamesh is the strongest being in this place now. One wrong move, and we follow Archer. Saber, her lips are tightly sealed. She's watching for a chance to face the enemy. However,
この誰に断って私のアーチャーに手を出してんのよ。
who gave you permission to touch my Archer? Tosaka loses her temper after losing Archer. Light flies through the air. Tosaka charges the jewel with as much energy as she can and fires pure destructive energy without any modifications. Gilgamesh doesn't even try to dodge it. The attack doesn't leave a scratch on him.
死に損ないを先にするつもりだったのだが。
I was going to finish off the stubborn survivor first.
順序が変わったな、女。
But you've changed my priorities, woman. The swords floating behind him sentenced Tosaka to death. They hurtle towards her at high speed, but Saber arrives even faster to deflect them, protecting her master.
セイバー。
リン、下がって。あの男は危険だ。手を出せば殺されます。
Get back, Rin. That man is dangerous. He'll kill you if you attack him.
ほう。今のマスターはその小娘か。
Oh, so that girl is your master now?
よかろう。ならば今の無礼は不問に付す。お前を失っては楽しみが減るからな。
Very well, I will pardon your impudence. It would hurt my entertainment to lose Saber now. Saber just glares up at our enemy, an invisible sword at the ready.
なぜここにいるアーチャー。オウミは前回の聖杯戦争で呼ばれたサーバント。
What are you doing here, Archer? You were summoned to the previous Holy Grey War.
そのあなたが なぜ今回も限界している？
Are you still in the mortal world?
なぜも何もあるまい。前回の戦いが終わった後、我は消えずにこの世に留まっただけだが。
It's very simple. I simply stayed behind after the last war ended.
そんなバカな。サーバントは聖杯が消えた時点でこの世との接点をなくすはずだ。ならばあなたが10年もの間とどまっていられるはずがない。
What? That's impossible. Servants lose their connection to this world once the Holy Grail disappears. You couldn't have remained for 10 whole years.
そうでもないぞ。もとよりこの世との接点は聖杯ではなくよりしろとなったマスターだ。聖杯はあくまで道を通したに過ぎん。聖杯が消えた後も魔術師が魔力を提供し続ければこの世にはとどまれる。
Not necessarily. To begin with, our anchor to this world isn't the Holy Grail, but our masters. The Grail is no more than the path we take to get here. Once it's gone, we can stay in this world if a mage supplies us magic energy.
もっとも聖杯の助力なしでサーバントを維持できるマスターなどそうはいないがな。その点で言えば俺のよりしろは魔力不足ではあった。
Of course, no master could sustain a servant without the support of a Holy Grail. On this point, my vessel did lack magic energy.
ならばどちらにせよあなたがとどまれるはずがない。サーバントを持つことにマスターが耐えられないならあなたは召喚者ともども枯渇しているはずだ。
Regardless, you couldn't have stayed. If your master couldn't support you, and you would have been exhausted along with your summoner.
それもやりようであろう。魔術回路が少なければ知識で補うのが魔術師という輩だ。
There are ways. Some mages can make up for their lack of magic circuits with knowledge.
その点で言えば俺のマスターはなかなかに筋金の入った男だった。
On that note, my master happened to be a particularly enterprising man. Past tense? So his master is no longer alive? No, Shinji was his master. The fact that the ungovernable Gilgamesh was following Shinji's orders was proof enough of that.
ではあなたのマスターはライダーのマスターと同じように。
Then, is your master the same person Ryder was contracted to?
ああ、事故で補えなければ他人から奪うのは当然だろう。
Yes, if he can't supply me with energy, then I take it from others, of course.
だが実を言えばそのような手間もいらなかったのだがな。俺は聖杯を浴びた唯一のサーバントだ。この時代における受肉など10年前に済ませている。
But, as it turned out, I didn't even need to bother. I was the only servant to bathe in the Holy Grail. 10 years ago I was incarnated in a flesh and blood body that allowed me to remain in this era. Saber stares at him in shock. The mention of 10 years ago seems to pain her.
そう。お前のおかげだぞ、セイバー。
That's right. It was all thanks to you, Saber.
あれが何であるか、我は誰よりも熟知している。何しろその新欲をぶちまけられ、中にあるものを見たのだからな。
I know better than anyone else what that thing is. After all, I was submerged into its depths and saw what was inside it.
ではあの時あなたは。
So, back then you...
ああ、聖杯の正体を理解したのだ。
Yes, I understood the true nature of a Holy Grail.
その時に決めた。あれは俺だけが扱うとな。
And that is when I decided that I should be the only one to handle it. He speaks to Saber. No, Golden Servant decrees is directed at all of us.
聖杯を あなたが使うだと。
You use the Holy Grail?
そうだ。マスターなどという寄生動物に分け与えてやる義理もあるまい。俺は俺の目的のために聖杯を使おう。
I will. I have no obligation to share with parasites such as the Masters. I will use the Holy Grail for my own purposes.
その最大の障害であった召喚者も
The
先
great-
ほど消え
The greatest obstacle in my summoner is gone now.
た。残ったものはより代にもならぬ魔術師もどきだけだ。
He left behind a mage unfit even to be a vessel.
俺の望みにはそのなり損ないこそがふさわしい。
That failure is quite suitable for my wish.
もっともお前の肉ならばあるいは完全な聖杯が出来上がるやもしれんが
With your flesh, of course, I might be able to make a more complete Holy Grail. The man eyes Tosaka. Tosaka shrinks away and goes a little pale, realizing how dangerous he is. His red eyes are ominous beyond comparison. Anyone would feel intensely uncomfortable under their gaze. His eyes are so bizarre that they even scare the unflappable Tosaka.
バカな。聖杯はマスターが得るものだ。
It can't be. Masters acquire the Holy Grail.
我らサーバントでは得られないからこそマスターに協力するのだろう。
We servants work with masters because we cannot obtain it ourselves.
それこそがおかしな話だ。
That's the strange thing about it, you see?
聖杯に触れられるのはサーバントだけでありながら聖杯を得られるのはマスターだけだというのか。
Why is it that only masters can acquire the Holy Grail, when only servants can touch it?
しかしそれは
すべてはくだらぬざれ言だ。
It's all a farce.
7人のマスターによる聖杯の奪い合い。最後の一人となったマスターのみが聖杯を得る儀式だと。
7 masters fighting over the Holy Grail? Only the last surviving master performs a ritual to obtain the Holy Grail?
そんなものはただの隠れ蓑に過ぎん。
That's all a pretext to hide the truth.
もとより聖杯の恒例など済んでいる。連中は毎回聖杯を用意してから7人のサーバントを呼ぶ。
Holy Grail has already been summoned. Every time the mage is prepared, and then summon the 7 servants.
わかるか騎士よ。連中が必要としたのは聖杯ではなく、その中に入るものだ。
Do you understand yet, King of Knights? What they need is not the Holy Grail, but something to fill it with.
マスターなど元は我らを呼ぶためだけの回路に過ぎん。魔術師どもはな、聖杯を作りはしたが、その中身を用意できなかった。
Masters are only a conduit to summon us. The mages who create this ritual couldn't supply the contents of a Holy Grail.
先ほども言っただろ。事故で補えないのなら、よそから奪ってくるのが奴らだと。
Didn't I just say it earlier? They couldn't provide the energy on their own, so they must take it from others.
聖杯を満たす最高純度の魔力。
They need magical energy of the highest purity to fill the Holy Grail.
守護者とも言える霊長最強の魂こそが奴らが求めたものだ。7人のサーバントとはな、もともと聖杯にくべられる生贄のことらしいぞ。
So they sought the most powerful souls of a prime species, all known as guardians. It seems that the 7 servants were always meant to be sacrifices to the Holy Grail. Saber stares at him in shock. Her eyes try to deny his words. It can't be true. The Holy Grail is, I thought, can't be something this abhorrent, seems to be telling herself.
驚くことはあるまい。聖杯は魂という本人でなければ制御できぬ力を純粋な魔力に返すろ過器だ。
It's hardly something to be surprised about. A Holy Grail is a strainer for souls. It takes power which cannot be controlled, except by the owner of the soul, and converts it into pure magic energy.
ああ、確かにそれならば願いは叶おう。魔術師どもにとっては永遠に使い切れぬ魔力量だろうからな。
You could indeed grant a wish using it. As far as the mages are concerned, it's an inexhaustible source of magic energy.
故に生贄は多ければ多いほど良い。6人ものサーバントをくべれば、それは万能と言えるだろう。
Thus, the more sacrifices there are, the better. One could well call it omnipotent, once it's been filled with 6 servants.
聖杯が汲み取ったサーバントは5人。奴らが目指した万能の釜までは、あと1人分で十分だ。
The Holy Grail has absorbed 5 servants. We just need one more to turn it into the omnipotent pot they desire.
それではやはり聖杯はマスターにしか扱えない。聖杯が純粋な魔力の貯蔵庫だというのなら、扱えるのは魔術師だけだ。
And the Holy Grail can only be handled by masters. If it's meant to be a reserve of magic energy, only mages can use it.
そうだ。持ち主となるマスターさえ優れた術者ならきっと。
But if one's master is a capable mage, then
あらゆる願いを叶えられるか？
they could grant any wish for you.
たわけ。人間風情にそのような奇跡は与えられん。どれほど強大な力を持とうと、自滅するのが人間というものだ。
Such miracles are not granted to mere humans, you fool. It is the fate of humans to destroy themselves, no matter how much power they wield.
だが、安心しろセイバー。
But don't worry, Saber.
この聖杯は本物だ。きちんと7人分の英霊を組み込めば、必ず原初に到達する。
This Holy Grail is the real thing. 7 heroic spirits are incorporated into it. I guarantee it will reach the origin of all things.
原初。ちょっと待った。じゃあ聖杯ってまさか。
The origin of? Hold on. Are you saying that the Holy Grail is?
何者かは知らんが、最初にこのルールを敷いた者は間違いなく神域の天才だろうよ。
I don't know who, but whoever first designed this scheme was unmistakably a genius worthy of gods.
まあしかし、俺には関係のない話ではある。俺はそんなものに興味はない。あるのは聖杯の門としての能力だけだ。
Still, it has nothing to do with me. I have no interest in such a thing. I only care about its power as a gate.
聖杯が門だと。
The Holy Grail is a gate?
10年前だセイバー。あと一歩で聖杯を手に入れるという時、俺はお前に阻まれた。
Recall, Saber, that 10 years ago, when I was on one step away from obtaining the Holy Grail, you denied my prize.
聖杯は聖剣によって両断され、こぼれ落ちた者は炎となって町を焼き払った。聖杯の真下にいた俺は、当然その本流を一身に浴びたのだ。
You clove it in two with your sacred sword, and what spilled out set fire to the town. I stood directly under the Grail and was submerged in its contents.
その時に聖杯の正体を知った。
That is when I learned its true nature.
実にくだらぬ。くだらぬが使い道はある。
It is truly absurd, but it has its uses.
数ある兵器の中でも、あれほど殺人に特化したものはあるまい。あれはあのままでいい。万能の釜になどする必要はない。
Among my many weapons, none are as specialized at killing people as this. It can stay the way it is. I have no need for some all-powerful cauldron.
兵器。聖杯がサーバントを持って生み出すものが 兵器だというのか、アーチャー。
A weapon? You say that because it can summon servants, Archer?
もともと我らとて兵器だろう。あれはそれを突き詰めたものに過ぎん。聖杯とは地獄の門。一度開けば中からは56億もの呪いが溢れ出す。
Of course, we have always been weapons, but this thing has perfected that task. The Holy Grail is the gate to hell. Once open, it will brim with 5.6 billion curses.
琴峰は言っていなかったか。
Didn't Kotomina tell you?
聖杯の名はアンリマユ。
The name of the Holy Grail is Aniramanyu, all the evil in the world.
その名の通り、すべての人間を食い潰す終わりの泥だと。
As its name suggests, it's an apocalyptic mud which consumes all humans. Aniramanyu? If I recall correctly, it's the same name of a devil from Dostarzin. Dostarzin? Man, I'm bad at pronouncing something. It's said to be our ruler of evil who has been fighting the gods for thousands of years. Be a ruler of evil. It's depicted as an embodiment of all of humanity's malice. We are a reflection of all humanity's goodwill. So why is the Holy Grail named after some ancient Persian demon?
では、あなたの目的は人間の。
Then your objective is to...
そう一層だ。俺は琴峰のように人間をめでようと努める気はない。めでるべきは美しいものだけだ。
To purge all humans? Yes. Like Kotomina, I don't intend to cherish humanity. I only treasure beautiful things.
この世界は楽しいがな。同様にどしがたい。
This world is enjoyable, but is unspeakably hideous.
凡白の雑種が生を謳歌するなど、王に対する冒涜だ。
It is blasphemy for the king, to the king, for the teeming masses of mongrels, to be allowed to celebrate their lives.
それでは治める気にもなれん。
I have no desire to rule over such a realm.
バカじゃないのあんた。何が王に対する冒涜よ。人間が一人もいなくなったらそれこそ王様の意味なんてないじゃない。
Are you stupid? What blasphemy? It doesn't matter to a king whether one person dies or not.
死に絶えるのならばそれでよい。自らの罪で消え去るのなら生きる価値などはあるまい。
If they die, then it's for the best. If they are killed by their own sins, then their lives were not worthy living to begin with.
俺が欲しいものは雑種ではない。地獄の中ですら生き延びられる者にこそ支配される価値がある。
What I desire are not mongrels. Only those who can survive the depths of hell are worthy of my rule.
その点で言えば前回のは落第だったな。あの程度の火で死に絶えるなど今の人間は弱すぎる。
That is what made last time a failure. The humans of today are truly feeble if they died from a fire of that magnitude. His lips curve up in a smile. For the first time, he looks at me, one of the failures.
この世すべての悪とやらが何者であるかは知らん。
I don't know what this Anya Manu is.
だが都合が良いだろ。すべての人間に等しく落ちる死の戸が。
But is it not convenient? It is a sin that falls on all mankind equally.
人より生まれた人だけを殺す底なしの闇。
It is a bottomless darkness created by humans, which exists only to kill humans.
本来俺がすべき仕事を任せるにはふさわしい猟犬だ。
A perfectly suitable hunting dog to delegate my work to. Here my treasures an arm. Noble phantasms float at the ready behind him, awaiting his command.
では10年前の続きといこう。あの時はくだらぬゴミが混ざったが、こたびはあのようなゴミはおらん。
Now, let us pick up from 10 years ago. Last time we were interrupted by some mongrel trash. But we don't have to worry about that now.
もっとも、それ以上にたちが悪いクズが混ざっているようだが。
Of course, and even more vile faker scum darkens the room now. All of the swords turn to a point at me. I try to stand up, but my broken leg won't move the way I wanted to. Crap, I can't even block a single one of those swords. Then why did Archer entrust his will to me? The swords disappear. The golden servant suddenly puts down his arm. He looks up at the ceiling with a displeasure and brushes something from his shoulder.
すすで汚れる。命拾いしたな、小僧。
My clothes got dirty. You've escaped with your life today, boy. Huh? Cass is on fire. I don't know who set it alight, but it seems like it's a pretty intense blaze. The third floor is already surrounded by flames, and they've reached the second floor. No. That's not what I should be surprised about. You really decided not to fight because his clothes got dirty?
逃げるのですか、アーチャー。
Running away, Archer?
場所を変えるだけだ、セイバー。聖杯は俺の手にある。
I'm changing the location, Saber. I have a holy grail in my hand.
ことは迅速に済ますのが俺の方針だからな。早々に聖杯を作り、地獄の穴を開けてやろう。
Prefer to settle things quickly. I promptly create a holy grail and open the hole to hell. His blonde hair flutters. Gilgamesh walks towards the terrace. That isn't on fire.
取り戻したければ早めにしろ。
If you want to take it back, then hurry.
何しろ今回の聖杯は急増の欠陥品だ。急がなければ中身がすべてこぼれてしまうぞ。
However, this holy grail will be a rushed, defective product. If you don't come soon, it might spill out. He muffled laughter after echoes. Then he leaves the burning castle. Sparks have started to dance around the great hall, and the ceiling is crumbling by the second. The formerly ornamented castle doesn't resemble itself anymore. Its master is gone. It crumbles away without a trace, as if to follow the pale girl. Interlude. Shinji Matos wanders around through the forest, his breathing ragged and bestial. He was headed in a concrete direction. To be clear, what is meant to state is utterly lost. With no objective, all I can do is run. Wandering is the only appropriate word to describe his behavior.
くそ、あと少しっていうところで、どいつもこいつも潰しやがって。
Shit, just a little more. I was so close, but they all had to get in my way. He pushes tree branches aside with one arm, splashing through the mud. Shinji heads for the forest exit, his blood stains marking his trail. Of course the shoulder wound Lancer gave him hasn't healed. He's already lost sensation in his right arm. His wound is red and inflamed, and his arm won't move, like a necrotized limb. He tips and stumbles into a tree. It must be difficult running with only one arm. His right arm hangs like dead weight. Then he realizes that a part of his body has become dead weight and starts to laugh. His laugh turns into a coughing fit. It hurts. He feels hot and feverish, perhaps due to the wound. His hazy mind imagines his arm rotting away. Then he starts to hallucinate about all the people around him also rotting away. Not just their arms. All those other idiots should know their place and be hurt even worse than he is. He can't stop laughing. The thought makes the pain slightly more bearable. He has a real purpose now. His first goal is to gather arms. He take arms from everyone, no exception.
そりゃいい。じゃあ、一番初めは決まってる。
It's good. Now to decide on the first. The girl who wouldn't do as he said. She's the one he likes the most, and he can't stand the thought of her looking prettier than him.
待っててよ、遠坂。すぐに僕以下にしてやるからさ。
Just you wait, Tosaka. I make you lower than me. Shinji mumbles and laughs, then looks up. A servant was standing in front of him. When did he get here?
お前。
You. He stares at the servant. The golden servant looks down at Shinji the way one might look at livestock.
傷を負ったのか。ひどいな。それではさぞかし痛かろう。
You're injured. It looks bad. It must hurt. The son is utterly disinterested. Shinji's face distorts. He glares at the man in front of him, failing to realize what the servant's word might have implied.
痛かろうだと？誰のせいだと思っているんだ。お前が間抜けだからランサーなんかにやられたんだぞ。
That must hurt? Whose fault do you think it is? Lancer did this to me because you're so stupid.
番犬役もできないくせに偉そうなことを言うな。
You're not even good as a guard dog. How dare you talk to me that way? Shinji rages at the servant. The golden servant nods, unconcerned.
その傷はランサーにつけられたのか。では、あのマスターを逃がしたのは奴だったのだな。
So Lancer gave you that wound, and he must have let that master go.
ああ、そうだよ。お前がグズだから遠坂を逃がしちまったんだ。あんな死に損ないに取られるなんて思い出しただけで吐き気がする。
Yeah, you got that right. Tosaka got away because you're scum. I want to throw up just thinking about how that cockroach got away.
そうか。それは残念だ。
Oh no, got me. Sorry. I see. That's too bad.
何を落ち着き払ってんだよ。遠坂がいなけりゃ聖杯が手に入らないんだろ。さあ、お前のせいで全部台無しだ。分かってんのかよ。これからどうすれば。
Are you trying to act cool for? We need Tosaka to get the Holy Grail, don't we? Damn it, you ruined everything. Don't you get that? What are you gonna do?
安心しろ。予定に狂いはない。聖杯は作り出せる。
Settle down. Plan hasn't changed. I can still make a Holy Grail. The servants speak emotionlessly. Shinji doesn't realize that the servant's red eyes aren't even looking at him.
どうやって？いくら聖杯があってもその器がないとできないって琴峰も言ってたじゃないか。あのガキの心臓だけじゃ意味がない。あれは優れた魔術回路につなげないと聖杯にならないんだろ。
How? Kotomine said we can't do anything unless we have a vessel. We need more than than that kid's heart. It won't turn into a holy grail unless we connect it to quality magic circuits. Shinji approaches his servant and berates him for his incompetence. The golden servant not again.
だから問題ない。
Then there's no problem.
より代になるマスターなら、ここにもう一人いるじゃないか。
We still have another master that can serve as a holy grail right here. Then he casually thrusts his arm out. Squish. Shinji doesn't realize that the noise was what the noise was until the very end. His stomach feels strange. Even he looks down. He sees a servant's arm. The fist is embedded in his body. The fist is embedded in his body. It doesn't hurt, nor is there any blood. The servant's arm sinks deep into the stomach, as if it's performing some outlandish spiritual surgery.
聖杯が欲しいのだろう。ならばくれてやろう。大事なものなら二度と手放すな。
You desire the Holy Grail? Then I give it to you. It's important, so don't let go of it again. Blood vessels swell. Freaky. He feels something alien swarming and revering inside him. And then he sees it to be Shinji Mato. God damn. He convulses. There's just a swollen hunk of meat there now. It has no clear shape. It's made up only of naked muscles and blood vessels, sudden growths of meat, and short-lived decaying meat. Oh, it hurts, growing, stop. His mind breaks, unable to withstand the discomfort of something wriggling inside him, and the pain of endless growth and decay. Servant watches for a while, and then departs as if nothing remarkable happened.
醜いな。力ある魔術師ならば変貌することもないだろうが。まあ、仕方があるまい。
So hideous. Though a powerful mage wouldn't have morphed like this. But I suppose there's no helping it. Chains extend out. The chains of heaven appear in mid-air to bind the infinitely expanding and rotting mass of flesh. Currently it's hovering between growth and decay, but the Holy Grail should quickly learn how to use its souls. Once that happened, the growth should greatly exceed the decay. At this rate, the Holy Grail will soon be complete.
ゲテモノの方が味は良い。
Bizarre, ugly folds taste better.
何より
Ugly fruits.
お前ならばふさわしい泥を吐き出すだろう、シンジ。
And most of all, I'm sure you'll spit out the mud that I need, won't you, Shinji? The servant chortles. In his shadow, a mass of flesh repeats me in a no longer human voice.
Shiro, 傷はもう痛まないのですか?
Well, it's already been like 3 hours. And I think I'll stop the episode right here and continue in the next one with probably the final episode or probably the final one. But I'm not sure how long it will take. Maybe I'll make 2 episodes out of it. So, but we're close to the end anyways. I will see you in the next episode and maybe end this with you. Until then, goodbye.